So what you mean? Won't say that the movies.
He's got one foot in the frying pan and one in the pressure cooker. Believe me, as a bowler, I know that right about now, your bladder feels like an overstuffed vacuum cleaner bag, and your butt is kind of like an about to explode bratwurst.
Hey, do you mind? I wasn't talking when you were bowling.
Was I talking out loud?
Welcome to Munsons at the Movies. My name is Kyle. I will once again be your host, joined by the rest of the Munsons. I want to give them a wide berth.
He's what is called a born loser. A real Munson.
Talk a little bit about what's going on in their worlds. This time we'll start with James.
So I'll give you guys a little background. It was 2 days after my son was born. My wife and I had just gotten home from the hospital. And so it's the first morning after we slept in our own bed. And she, barely can get out of bed, right? She's still recovering. And I receive a calendar invite on my phone that just has a picture of scissors and the word vasectomy. And so she had enough energy to schedule my vasectomy like a good 18 hours after we got home, and no energy for anything else. And so by the time this podcast comes out, I will officially have been snipped and neutered like a small dog. I'll let you guys know how that experience goes, but I want you to know that my wife prioritized that I will never miss another podcast for a child being born. I promise you that.
That answers the question I had of, are you guys done? And Kate said, we're fucking done.
Respect the commitment.
I applaud your sacrifice, sir.
From my buddies who've gotten it done, they actually say the surgery is not that bad. The thing that's bad is the 5 minutes before the surgery where some man is going to fondle me and prepare me for surgery. And they're like, yeah, that part sucks.
I was waiting for the rough part.
That's like the best part, honestly. I was about to say, that feels kind of nice. It's like a massage.
Yeah.
Case, follow that up.
Jeez Louise. Well, I've got another medical entry, but it has nothing to do with me. One of my favorite radio personalities, and the one that I probably try to fashion myself after the most, is a guy by the name of Ron Bennington, who's on Sirius XM. And recently he announced that he has stage 4 colon cancer. His response to it was fascinating in that he started a thing called Portcast, where he invites comedians to come in and basically do an interview while he's getting chemotherapy.
Damn.
And so if you're listening to this and you want to support people doing really cool things in tough times, go find Portcast with Ron Bennington. And I assure you it's very entertaining, and you'll get a kick out of it. And he's doing a lot of things with, for cancer awareness and for like support awareness, and he's using this as a way to kind of do that. So it's a good way to support somebody going through a tough time and trying to do the right thing. So I can't really follow James's up, but go seek out Portcast on all of your social medias and give it a listen and a watch. It's a good time, and share it with your friends. That's it on my end, man.
Aubrey, what about you?
I am here to try to get Hero James out of this appointment, because I have reached a new pinnacle in life. I've achieved what has to be one of the coolest things that I think I'll ever achieve. Like the real true joy I experienced going to see Spider-Man Brand New Day. It is probably my favorite movie theater experience of all time right now.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Because I got to take my 6-year-old son, who is obsessed with Spider-Man, to go see this movie in full costume. He was dressed as Peter Parker for 2 straight days. We watched every Spider-Man movie over the course of those 2 days because it was summer and I was home. He drew Spider-Man. I had to fight Spider-Man as Green Goblin, who was stealing money, and I would just get beat up over the course of that day. And then my wife and I were able to take him to go see that movie, and it was the most amazing thing I think I've ever experienced. It's so cool to see what like that character means to that kid. Like, I don't know if I have loved anything the way that kid loves Spider-Man.
That's awesome.
He was like giddy, bouncing in the chair, just waiting for it to start. And there's a lot of things that remind me why I love movies. That one was but that was right up on top of the list. It was just like, man, movies can make people feel this way. I love them.
Jealous of that. I'm excited to get to it. My daughter's just kind of starting certain movies, right? We have to make sure they're, not even the bad scenes really aren't that bad. So like even normal Disney animated movies, we're like, we got to make sure no parents are murdered in this movie or something like that. Like it has to be super light, but I do enjoy like discussing it with her. Be like, no, tell me your thoughts on Rio. I want to hear what you liked about the movie about birds. It's like, let's hear it.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I for our guest tonight, I threw on my Go Fest Mega Mewtwo shirt. I thought,
100 Thieves. I see you.
Oh yeah, living the best life. Comfy shirt. It's lovely. 2, not a medical story, but maybe future. I have Costco dinner running through my veins right now. Ooh. And I don't know who's listening, and somebody might be jealous, and some of you might fear for me medically after that. Regardless, I don't give a shit.
Are you going for a sponsor?
I should. We need sponsors.
I agree.
But the important note on my side is when this episode comes out, I will be in Italy.
Woo!
And thoroughly enjoying the culture of James's people.
That's right.
Looking forward to the chain smoking, the pasta, and what I assume will be 90-degree weather. So it's going to be fun.
Don't also forget the soccer and the corruption and the infidelity. These are like what we're good at.
Hell yeah.
These are our things, bro.
I'm very excited to see it firsthand. Like Jane Goodall just sitting in the corner watching all this culture happen around me. It's going to be fantastic. Also fantastic is welcoming back one of our favorite guests, Matti Groll. Matti is formerly a host of a weekly movie review podcast. He now focuses on creating gaming content on YouTube and Twitch full-time. He still loves podcasting and considers it an honor to be welcomed back to the Munsons to talk about movies and TV. He previously joined us for the Sam Rockwell, Chris Hemsworth, Haley Steinfeld, John Slattery, Adam Driver, Aidan Gillen, and Greta Gerwig episodes. He'll be tied for the most Munsons appearances for about one episode. Aww. And then he'll lose that crown when Dan Aykroyd rejoins us.
Well, I'll just have to come back.
You'll get that email from me. That will happen. So, Matti, what's going on in your world, in the gaming world these days?
I don't have any surgeries to report. I was just in LA for a big event, which was really fun. Every year, the community kind of puts on like a thing where, I do Pokemon stuff. So we get non-Pokemon streamers to come and play their first Pokemon game, basically. And we coach them through it. And then we all fly to LA and do an in-person kind of tournament thing. And it's always really fun. A ton of people watch it. It's really cool to meet, there's some really big creators in that. So I've met a lot of really cool and nice people through that. So it was a wonderful time to do it this year as well. But I think of the 2 years, you're around these people with like millions of subscribers and stuff like that. But for me, the one person that I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I met this person. Hopefully you guys have seen like Midnight Mass.
Yeah, love Midnight Mass.
Did not meet Mike Flanagan. I met Rahul Kohli.
Okay, that's still
cool.
Who is a phenomenal actor. He was at like an after party kind of thing because he was dating is dating a streamer named Alana Pierce, who is very nice. But so I like went up to him and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like be super annoying, but you're so cool. We talked a little bit about just a whole bunch of stuff. So that was really cool. LA is the place to be. I always like going there for like a day or two and then leaving before I get sick of the traffic. Back here in Boston, ready to talk about my fellow terrier.
Dude, he was great in Midnight Mass. I would have totally fanboyed out myself and be like, remember you were in the show I liked? Or ask some stupid questions. Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
Your philosophy on Los Angeles lines a lot with Chikliss's approach to Los Angeles. Get in,
get out,
get back to the East Coast.
Hell yeah.
Well, welcome to episode 140. Let's rock and roll. Get this thing started. All right, birthdays. August 20th. Got some goodies here. First up, we have Amy Adams. Somewhat talented actress. I'm kidding. Very talented actress. I just wanted to see Aubrey lose his fucking mind when I say that. Known for projects like Arrival, Enchanted, Disenchanted, The Fighter, The Master, The Office, Nocturnal Animals, Talladega Nights, Catch Me If You Can, Man of Steel, Her, Vice, Julie and Julia, The Muppets, Doubt, Big Eyes, American Hustle, Drop Dead Gorgeous, Hillbilly Elegy, and Charmed. How old is Amy Adams? She's in so much good stuff.
What a career.
And she's amazing in Cape Fear.
How old is Amy? AA.
I mean, she looks incredible. She's one of the best actors I like working. I absolutely love Amy Adams and everything about Amy Adams. And I think it's remarkable that she can accomplish as much as she has accomplished and done and only be 22. To see, like, there's so much left for her to do. And I think that's amazing also.
Good guess.
$1 guess. Love it.
45.
Yeah, I got so lost when you were starting to read the credit. I usually try to do a little bit of math. So I'm just going to throw, you said 45, James. I'm going to take a little middle ground there. I'm going to go 40.
I think she's older than that. Because if she's in Catch Me If You Can, right? And she is 2000, that's 2003. Probably at least 18 in that.
This is the proper way to do it, is to work backwards from like life events. Yeah.
She was on Charmed, if that gives you any idea.
That would be 85. So I'm going to just say 49.
I really like that. He showed his work on that one. You do well with teachers.
Yeah, we all don't care about that.
Yeah, sorry.
Aubrey always wins. So while Aubrey always wins, in this case, there's one person who's most correct, and that's Matti Groll, 52.
I was going to say 52, but I didn't want to be the only one that said she was over 50.
You played it safe. Went a little under, above the highest guess. All right, next up, we've got the amazing Spider-Man himself, Andrew Garfield. Also known for things like Hacksaw Ridge, The Social Network, Under the Silver Lake, 99 Homes, Silence, Tick, Tick, Boom, Eyes of Tammy Faye, and The Imagination of Dr. Parnassus. How old is Andrew Garfield?
39.
Give me 43.
42.
Oh, tight window.
You said 43 and 42. All right. Let's try and do the math again.
Yeah.
So I saw a tweet that was saying that all the Spider-Men have had their best movie at the same age. I just can't remember what the age was, but I think it might be 31 or no 30 because that's what Tom Holland is right now, right? So if he was 30 for Amazing Spider-Man, that was 2014. Is that right?
I'm not helping you.
This is a doctorate test taker.
Yeah, man.
I'm not helping you.
I don't remember. All right, let's say that's okay, so that's 16. He's 42. So I can't say that though, right?
You can. You can double down.
Sure you can.
You can. Join the bandwagon.
All right, I'll 42 it.
So we got two 42s. James was a 39 and Case was 43.
Yep.
Andrew Garfield's turning 43 years old, so Case gets the one.
Damn.
Your math was good. All right, last one is Ke Huy Quan. He is known for things like Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, Loki, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, The Goonies, Zootopia 2, The White Lotus, Stunts, in Hollywood for a lot of years, and one of my personal favorites, Encino Man. How old is Ke?
I can't wait to hear the math on this.
Oh, yeah, he's in White Lotus.
I think he and I are the same age at a cool 50.
I think this guy is aging wonderfully because I have no idea how old he is. It's insane what he's aging.
This is Aubrey's thinly veiled butchering of problematic white men by blindly complimenting a very nice non-white man for how he looks.
I'm throwing out 57. I have no math on this, but however old Indiana Jones, the second one, is, like, -8.
How old were you when that movie came out?
9 or 10?
He's probably older than 8 in that movie.
So he's 59.
Yeah. I'm going 57.
For good or for bad, 3 of you are over because he's turning 56. So Case with another victory.
So shout out to him.
This cabin life has really got my age guessing really clean. I did well last week, too.
You did do well last week. All right. Well, happy birthday to them and anybody else with a birthday on August 20th. All right, episode 140. We had 5 actors we threw onto the wheel that included Jimmy Simpson, Kareena Kapoor, Will Patton, and Kang Ho Song. But it does not matter because the wheel selected Michael Chiklis. Michael has 71 acting credits, 3 directing, 5 producing, 3 soundtrack, and some theater work mixed in there. So he's done quite a bit in the world of entertainment. But before we get into the things we love, the things we hated, the roles that we'll forever remember or want to forget immediately, we always start with a little actor trivia to see if James can stump us Fast and Furious style.
Madi, you're part of the initiated. You know the deal. But for any new listeners at home, I'm going to read off 3 facts here, 2 of which are going to be true about the man of the hour, Michael Chiklis, 1 of which is not going to be true about him, but is going to be true about one of the many illustrious cast members of the Fast and Furious franchise. Gentlemen here are going to have to guess which one that is. Fact number 1. After more than 20 years as an established actor, he finally pursued his lifelong passion for music, where he could play multiple instruments, releasing several self-produced albums. Fact number 2, he was the first actor from a basic cable series to win an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor. Fact number 3, he has the honor of being Stan Lee's, quote, absolute favorite acting performance of any Marvel character adapted to live-action film.
Really painted me into a corner with this one.
Does The Shield count as a basic cable show?
Great question, Madi. I cannot answer that for you.
Yeah, you're going to have to decide in your own filter on that one.
James, the lie is obviously number 1, and that's because that's about Noel Guglielmi, who famously portrayed a gang leader that crossed paths with Chiklis in his high-profile detective, The Shield. I believe it's seasons 3 and 4, maybe? Anyways, he's definitely got the music chops that light the world on fire.
I like the tie-in there.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bite. I'm going to go with fact 3. Because there are a couple Fast and Furious Marvel crossovers here, but I'm not going to go with the one. I know James is trying to goat me into going with Vin Diesel as Groot, that Stan Lee loves Groot. But I think actually Stan Lee was a bigger Mary Poppins fan, and so a big Yondu guy. So I'm going to go with Michael Rooker. It's really
Ooh.
I think maybe Stan just had something for the Yondu character in the Marvel universe. That's my guess.
The Rook. Good guess.
I'm now picturing a world in which Stan Lee and Michael Rooker are talking, and I would pay so much money to hear that conversation. You talk about being painted into a corner, Kate. This one's tough for me.
Yeah, it is.
But I feel confident about the acting career that no one knows about because our Western minds are only caught up in what happens here. And this is about the great MC Jin.
Ooh.
Good guess.
That is a good guess.
My first gut was Vin Diesel. I feel like somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I've heard that Stanley loved Vin Diesel, or Groot rather. So I'm going to go with 3 and just say it's the low-hanging fruit. He loved Groot.
Ooh, bars.
He rhymed. What a crime.
Yeah.
I will say the entire genesis of this bit that I've been doing since before COVID was I was going to come up with actor trivia. 1, because I find it fascinating. But 2, I wanted to make fun of Vin Diesel as Groot because I was like, how can I tie in got paid $10 million to say one word 60,000 times and everyone would be like, or 3 words or something like that. And I did that once and I've just had to actually do follow-ups of a million things of trivia for the Fast and Furious franchise just to say that one joke once. But I'll start somewhere else here. He was the first actor from basic cable series to win Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor. That is true. So I also had to look up the difference here. But Michael Chiklis won Emmy for Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series and a Golden Globe. He's the first in history to do that from a advertiser-supported basic cable series. So that means like not broadcast television like ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox, or the paid-for service at that time, which was HBO.
Oh, interesting.
That was breaking the long-time dominance of those all major acting awards when it came to those networks. So the success of Chiklis and The Shield helped establish basic cable channels like FX and AMC as potentially homes to prestigious original drama. And if you look after this, we got Monk, Mad Men, and Breaking Bad, which were all on these tiny offshoot channels and not on ABC or NBC or Fox. And I thought that was pretty interesting because I knew The Shield was incredibly popular, but then I didn't realize he was the first ever for that. Fact number 3, He has the honor of being Stan Lee's, quote, absolute favorite acting performance of any Marvel character adapted to live action. That's true. Stan Lee has consistently, before he passed, praised Chiklis' portrayal as the gruff personality, the loyalty, the pain, and resilience of the Thing. Said it's his absolute favorite performance. He would frequently bring up Chiklis and how he brought the strength and humor and the honesty to Ben Grimm, which was like something he was super tied to. He said, I wanted him to capture the humanity, and he did it. Chiklis, huge fan of Fantastic Four growing up, and he called the opportunity to play the Thing like a childhood dream of his. He practiced the Thing's voice for months, performed in the practical suit that weighed 60 pounds instead of relying on CGI. Like, he was fully committed to this character. It would take him 5 hours to get that suit on. And so if they started shooting at 8, he had to get there at 3 for them to glue that shit to him. And it eventually caused like claustrophobia and panic attacks for him. But I find it so funny because that movie is universally panned.
That's crazy that that's his favorite.
And Stan Lee has never budged. He's like, nah, I just love Chiklis and the Fantastic Four. I don't know what to tell you.
That's pretty high praise.
And fact number 1, after more than 20 years as an established actor, he pursued his lifelong passion for music, where he could play multiple instruments, releasing several self-produced albums. So music is a lifelong passion for Chiklis alongside acting. He could play drums, guitar, bass, and he did eventually pursue that passion professionally. Self-produced a solo album, Influence, which I didn't get a chance to listen to, but is available online. However, that was 27 years into his acting career, and he's only released one. This fact about 20 years and multiple is about Sir Idris Elba.
Yeah.
I didn't realize was fucking all about that music. He has over almost 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Incredibly accomplished musician. I think I heard one of his songs on FIFA once. But he's obviously even though he's knighted, he's most famously known for his role as the cybergenetically enhanced villain Brixton Lore in Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw in the Fast and Furious franchise.
That's really good.
Good work.
Damn.
If we ever covered him, I would give him a much higher score than people might imagine. He might be close to the triple digits.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm a big fan of him.
Good to know.
Finding out he was British was pretty devastating for me. I just hate how every British person can just easily do an American accent. Just nail it every time.
Not everyone.
Well, it's one of those where you find out, especially like I feel for the people that found out he was British after discovering him on The Wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, he's got to be from the area. Maybe not Baltimore, but he's like more in the Delaware area. I'm like, no, he's from England. Like, what?
People hoping he's from Balmer. Not so much. It still blows my mind all these years later. Like James said, we've only covered one actor who's been in a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
And that's it. Jamin Hansu.
That's it.
Start and end of list. All right, Case. Tell us a little bit about Chiklis' snapshot box office. I know you got a lot of data to play with.
Yeah, we got a lot of data, but let's just put it this way. A pattern forms very quickly when you're looking at the career of Michael Chiklis. And that's that the bulk of his work, and in my opinion, the most important part of his work, has been on TV. That's apparent with 65% of his qualifying credits are theatrical releases. That is easily in the bottom 10% of all the actors we've covered.
Mm.
That really cuts the legs out from a lot of his stuff. Further, if you're not convinced that he's a TV guy more than a movie guy, he's credited with over 350 episodes of TV work.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that job for sure.
Sure. Yep.
When you look at his qualifying films, it turns out that we may be in the resurgent of his career, which makes sense after starting his career off with a certified bomb in the movie Wired, which I know we'll talk about later. Mm-hmm. In the third part of his career, his film Super Score average goes from 49.3 down to 46.5 and lands at nearly 60% where we're at today. On the plus side, he is perennially billed as a top character. In that 77% of his movies, he's in the top 5. Also, his works have a definite fan bias, as the average audience score of his movies is 21% higher than the critics.
Wow.
The Senior is arguably the most positive project on his box office resume. It's one of only 2 films, this one in 1985, that hit with fans, critics, and in the box office. Further, it had a 404% ROI. On the backside of that, I never enjoy this. Nearly all of the other numbers are very low. Outside of the painfully low rankings that we'll talk about in a minute, one interesting downside to his career is that an estimated 60% of his world gross comes from only 2 movies, the 2 Fantastic Fours. Also, word of mouth about the movie Wired not only hurt the production of the movie, but it also hurt the long-term success of it, as 65% of that movie's gross was made on opening weekend, which basically means that the only people that saw it after opening weekend were the people that didn't hear that it wasn't very good. 55% of his theatrical movies miss with the critics, which is really low. Here's the numbers that we'll use to rank Mr. Chiklis. On the box office side of rankings, his highest rank is ROI, tied at 37, which isn't bad. Meanwhile, all the other metrics are well over 100, with most of them ranking in the 130s. On the film resume side of his career, we see all rankings really low. The highest rank he has, he's tied at 85 for career length. So that being said, with 60% of his score coming from the box office, 40% coming from his resume, Mr. Chiklis comes in ranking at 140.
Of how many?
Out of 140.
Oof.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The data is what the data is. And I don't enjoy reporting that he is last place on our Munson box office app. I also hate to say this. I'm not surprised.
No.
His highest quality work is TV. And I know we'll talk about that. So I will turn it over to you guys. What are your thoughts on his box office performance and the data that we have?
Yep, nothing surprising.
It's not shocking to me. I don't think he'll be last because of his TV performance. And also, I just don't agree with some of the reviews I've seen for some of his movies.
Yeah.
But I'm not shocked because... Actually, no, that's not true. I'm a little shocked because being in 2 Fantastic Four movies, you figure that would pump some numbers up.
Well, it did. It's world gross.
Yeah.
I was about to say, just the money side.
You take those out, and I mean, that's 68% of his world gross. He would firmly be last if they weren't in there.
Okay.
that's crazy.
So I will start this with a compliment. I think he suffers from the structure of the podcast, and probably more than anyone else that's been covered. Since I wasn't here in the inception of this idea, I wonder how someone like Michael Chiklis even plays into this, because he's not really a film actor.
Mm-mm.
And so it's one of those where like he's always going to suffer because of this. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for that. And I would like everyone that's listening to put this in their notes app right now that I did this. So you can reflect upon me being nice to him.
This is my counterpoint to that. James Gandolfini's most famous role is Tony Soprano. He's only did a handful of movies before he passed away, and I think I'll end up giving him 45 more points than Michael Chiklis, who meets the same qualifications of being most well-known for TV show.
I agree with what you would do, but Case's data has got nothing for that.
Fair.
No.
James Gandolfini might get hit real hard too.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not the Munson Meter, so that's the key piece. You can make up for that later.
And James, I have a beta feature I'm working on, which is a Oracle feature, basically, where I can ask weird questions like that. And on the beta version, it is saying that James Gandolfini would probably rank around 95.
The robots will never take over the future. They're so fucking stupid.
That is a lot higher than 140, though.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Every time anyone thinks AI is going to take over the world, tell them that stat.
The good news, James, is Gandolfini's rank would fly up because he's top billed on a lot of roles, so he would actually be in the 60s if we factored in his billing order.
Still, it should be killed in the beta form based on that result alone.
Good foundation to get us started here. Well, let's talk about his personal life a little bit, and then we'll start talking about some of the work. So, as we mentioned early on, born in Lowell, Massachusetts, 1963, so he's my parents' age. Looks great. Read between the lines on that one.
I have a theory.
Is Lowell, Massachusetts a nice area?
No.
Tell us more about Lowell.
I've been there once. I went to UMass Lowell for a track race once. It's a very classic, like, Massachusetts, like, blue-collar town. They do, like, steel production and stuff like that there. And it's like where the guy from The Fighter is from, Mickey Ward from Lowell, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little inland. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like north of the city-ish, but yeah, not a very nice area at all.
Sounds like the perfect breeding ground for his character from The Shield.
Yes.
I mean, we cover a lot of actors who, like, their family comes from entertainment. Like, we did Blake Lively, whose entire family is from entertainment. That is not Michael Chiklis' family. His mom was a hospital aide, and his dad ran a hair and beauty salon. Not an entertainment family.
Huh.
That is incredibly ironic.
It's not. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. It's when I read this, I was like, because I know how his last name is spelt. But when I learned that fact, I was like, oh, so he is Greek. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, his mom's a nurse and his dad runs a hair and beauty salon. I was like, okay, so he is Greek. That's what I thought. And then, like, the next sentence down is like, second gender, both his parents are from Greece. Like, yeah, there we go. I was like, totally get it.
His dad probably looks like the Zohan. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, for sure.
So, not unlike many actors we cover, he started entertaining his family with impersonations at the age of 5. So one of those, you got it early, you showcase the skills of enjoying the attention of being in front of your folks and entertaining them. I love that. Started doing regional theater at 13 and joined Matti in Terrier Land. Went to BU.
Go BU.
Boston University. Got his Bachelor of Arts in Fine Arts.
CFA, baby.
Matti, my question is, did you know Michael Chiklis went to BU when you were graduating? Was he like an alum? You're like, oh shit, yeah, Michael Chiklis went there.
Yeah. So I mean, BU's weird because it's like, it's a really, really big school, but like, and there's a couple really like famous actors and stuff, but there's not a bunch of them. It's like, so like we have a College of Fine Arts or whatever. But when you go to a school, you're always like, oh, I wonder who our most famous alumni are. And it's like, okay, yeah, we gave a doctorate to MLK, and I think we gave the first doctorate to a woman, all this stuff. But I went straight to, the entertainment.
Of course.
So I knew every single actor that went to BU. But I mean, like the big ones are like Gina Davis.
They're great ones.
And like Susan Sarandon.
Those are fantastic.
Yeah. A couple months in alums.
Julianne Moore, not Susan Sarandon.
Incredible.
Marissa Tomei, Alfred Woodward, Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
Dan Fogler, Faye Dunaway.
Jeez.
Good grief.
So your acting program's a good one.
Yeah.
Seemingly, I guess. But like, there's not like a ton of that. Because like, it's a really, really big school. So it's not as many as you might think, but there are some very, very big ones. So it's pretty cool. All
right, so did the BU thing. Then he moved to Brooklyn to start his acting career. His first role ever was his first audition is related to a movie we'll talk about in a second. But his first role on TV, because it took a while for that project to come together, was in Miami Vice, #1 new show as Detective Whitehead.
#1
from 1989, 1 episode. Good show to get on.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on with that. Detective Whitehead, which is hilarious on its own.
He wasn't fully bald yet, though.
He wasn't.
That's not until after Three Stooges.
When did he go fully bald?
After Three Stooges.
Oh, okay. And then secondly, I like that he's getting a jump on the old detective role.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a little. Yeah, I mean, might as well just embrace it early on, right? On one of the biggest shows in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we're going to first major role, which is a movie called Wired from 1989. He plays John Belushi. I drew this one. Much like James on the last episode. Was the last episode of the Gary Sinise? No, I think it was the Gary Sinise.
No, it was Gary Sinise.
Right? You weren't able to watch the movie?
Yeah.
First major role.
Kyle, it's also funny when you look this movie up online for like some of the facts about it. One of the things they say is you can't actually, you have to find a physical. You can't watch, like it says, like never put on DVD, never on Blu-ray. They stopped making the VHSs. You simply cannot watch this movie. You
got to know somebody who has an old VHS copy, which are limited, or you got to have somebody on the deep dark web that has a rip cut of it somewhere. So, yeah, unfortunately, I did not get a chance to watch Wired, but neither will you if you're listening.
Yeah.
It's just not available. But honestly, I think the hullabaloo around the movie is probably way more fascinating than the actual movie itself.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Wired is widely considered the worst biopic ever made.
Yep.
it's very sad that I wasn't able to watch it because of that. So it's based on Bob Woodward's book from 1984 about John Belushi. And if you don't know about the book, essentially the book was a hit job. He interviewed a ton of people who were friends with him, hung out with him during his heyday with SNL, and in a time when he was doing a lot of partying. The problem is his book came out, and a lot of the people that were close to Belushi hated the book because essentially the book threw them all under the bus. It basically said, you're the ones who introduced him to drugs. There was the party environment, the lifestyle, you enabled him, blah, blah, blah. So everybody hated the book once it came out.
Yeah.
What happened is that years later, for some reason, this gentleman was like, hey, I want to buy the rights to make a movie out of that book, even though everybody fucking hated this book. Like we mentioned, I couldn't get access to this, not even via a DVD from Bulgaria, which is usually kind of the Amazon. You can usually find something if you have a couple weeks lead time. But if you go to YouTube and you want to learn about it, there's a 25-minute video from a YouTuber named Pop Culture Hyperfixations. The video came out a year ago, so it's relatively new. And it's very informative about the context behind the film, the production, and in particular, the reaction to Chiklis playing the role after he played in the film. So kind of like long story short, the screenwriter that they brought on did Buckaroo Banzai, which we've talked about a few times on the podcast. The film was financed through a New Zealand grocery store company / brewery / hotel company.
That's usually a winning formula.
Right? They were essentially using it as a tax write-off.
Yeah.
And because of that, production started and stopped routinely because financing kept falling through. The original director chose an actor named Michael Marks to play John Belushi, so Michael Chiklis was not the original choice. Once they had some changes with the production, they brought in a new director. That new director wanted kind of his own person, his own vision of it, and so he brought in Michael Chiklis. Now, Michael Chiklis had auditioned 12 times over a 3-year period for the role.
Yeah.
So he was in his program at BU. He said that they essentially had a day where like folks would come in and they were from a lot of the big schools, Harvard, Yale, all these different places. And it was essentially one of those, we want to get a look at the talent you have in your program because, you know, they're looking to audition folks for different projects. That's how he got hooked into this. He had no clue what he signed up for. He was just a young up and coming actor that's like, hey, I can get a chance to audition and be in a major motion picture about John Belushi and I can play John Belushi. Why the fuck not? Why wouldn't I do that? Clearly, he hadn't read the Woodward book.
Yeah.
Especially after Dan Aykroyd publicly put a curse on the film and everyone in it. Think of it yourself as you're starting your career and you take on a role where some of the most famous actors of the 80s are putting a hex on anybody who plays a role in it. Coming out the gate, you're going to probably create some enemies.
That's literal, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Dan Aykroyd put a hex on the movie.
I knew immediately that wasn't Kyle talking out of turn. And
Yes.
I knew immediately that was true.
Yep.
Chiklis said when they offered him the movie, he's like, 1 minute I'm telling people what the nightly specials are at the restaurant, and then I get offered this movie. So do I want to continue being a waiter or do I want to be an actor? He's like, so I had to take the movie, and I didn't know any of this stuff was going on.
They had no clue. By the time he wised up and started a fuss, they had pretty much finished making the movie by the time he figured out the controversy with the Bob Woodward situation.
Yep.
Because he said that during production, people kept telling him how brave he was for taking on the role. And he's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I'm just an actor. Because everyone's like, that book is fucking awful, man. Why? Shout out to you for taking on that.
Yeah.
It's the most I'm just out of college, please give me a fucking job like thing ever. It's like...
They finish up the production, and the real nightmare started where they needed to find somebody to distribute the film because the book was terrible. No one thought the movie would be good. Eventually, they find someone to take it on. Despite the fact that Wired, from the clips I've seen, from what I've read online, and that long video I watched, it's not a linear biopic. It crosses 3 different timelines with this weird metaphysical angle where Bob Woodward is interviewing him throughout the film in each of the acts. And in the one act, he's interviewing a ghost version of Belushi during his overdose.
Yeah.
Like it's just like this weird meta.
And autopsy.
Yeah, it's a weird the scenes that I did see are just fucking bizarre.
It's like a strange version of what is that? A Christmas Carol?
Like Michael Caine, Muppets.
It's like that approach to telling the story. It's bizarre.
Uh-huh. So everything that I saw and read, though, said that Chiklis apparently isn't terrible. He did a good job capturing the essence of Belushi, apparently, like his tics, his fixations, things like that. However, it was pretty hard for him to get another audition until Burt Reynolds gave him an audition for his show BL Striker, but it's kind of like dead on arrival after that. What's cool is that years later, he did make up with both John's wife and Jim Belushi, who we've covered on the podcast, former Munson.
Yep.
Apparently, like, tears were shed in that moment because at that point, like, everybody hates him. Not because it's a personal thing, but like, hey, you took on this role and we're part of this project. I did watch a video where Siskel and Ebert were reviewing the film. They were not very complimentary of the film itself. They had some real problems with the screenplay, but they did say they praised Chiklis and his co-star who played Dan Aykroyd. They praised both of them for doing the best they could with the material. But you notice he didn't mention Chiklis. He just said the actors, because Chiklis is an unknown at this time.
Unknown, yep.
Ebert has no clue who he is. He's just like the actor who played John Belushi. Actually wasn't too bad. I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a ringing endorsement, I guess, for your skill set in that. But the things this guy hated, it's a messy screenplay. The acting was awful across the board outside of them. The cinematography looks batshit terrible.
Yeah.
The movie spends almost its entire runtime just humiliating the legacy of John Belushi. It doesn't tell a whole well-rounded story. It's just a hit piece on his drug use and party days and things like that. I think my favorite review said it's a biography without a soul or a shred of dignity. And to better put into terms the financials of this, it played in 1,200 theaters. It is, in its first weekend, only 5 made over $1,000.
Yeah.
That's how poorly it was received across the country. So that's Wired from 1989. Fucking crazy.
So Bob Woodward, for those that don't know, is the guy that wrote All the President's Men, which is the story that took down Richard Nixon. So he was a hot shot author. So if he wrote something, people immediately thought it was going to be good. And then the other thing that I never liked about this movie was the timing of it, because Belushi was, I mean, it could be argued he was one of the most funny, the funniest people of his era.
Mm-hmm.
This would be like an unknown actor trying to portray Kobe Bryant 5 years after he died.
You're putting yourself in a weird spot, but I think the only thing that would motivate an actor in that situation, other than obviously I want to get into the industry, is if you're like a diehard fan.
Yeah, and he loved Belushi.
Yeah, you're like, listen, I get it. This is a bad choice, but I fucking love Belushi. I love Kobe Bryant. It's like, all right, well, then I kind of get it.
And there's no way Chiklis was going to be as convincing comedically as Belushi. This was doomed from the start.
It does say something about his performance then, even if you can't watch the movie, if everyone who hated every aspect of this movie was still like, yeah, but that guy actually wasn't that bad, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to imagine his involvement in this hurt the beginning of his career, because people were literally getting blackballed and fired from other movies that were in this.
Yeah.
CAA, they were a part of this and they denied ever doing it, but a lot of people have come out and said, yeah, they basically told us that if we have any involvement in this, they're never going to put actors, they're never going to let us get actors into our movies. So a lot of people folded, and I wouldn't be shocked if Chiklis got turned away from a lot of projects because of his involvement in this. Unfortunately, I think that's really unfair, but it wouldn't surprise me.
So then what you see coming out of those is he starts entering into the world of television, in just recurring episode television. So first one is called Wise Guy from 1989. Jonathan Banks, I think is his name, is the main character in there. You might recognize him from other projects over the years, but he did 4 episodes of that in 89. But his kind of big TV break really was his role as Tony in the Commish from 91 to 96, 92 episodes, which I watched a couple episodes of it. Very different cop than the Shield is what I would say. Much nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny, right?
He's funny, he's nice, he's polite, he's a little bit more charming. It's a nice free show you can watch on Tubi.
This was one of those things where I know that in my watching Michael Chiklis's career, this was the first thing that I had seen him in. So I must have been a little kid. And I remember being like, the Commish, it's that funny, like it was a funny thing. And that's why I was shocked about the next parts of his career. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember the actual show itself. I just remember that he was from that. What I wanted to bring up is I have a question for Aubrey, which is how problematic do you think Michael Chiklis was in his young age, in that in this show, he's only 27 years old playing a mid-40s police commissioner.
And he still had hair by this time. Not much of it, but he still had hair.
But he looks like a spry, middle-aged man, and he's fresh out of college.
It sounds about right.
And to give the juxtaposition of what James was talking about, the description for the show says, Tony's calmness and intellect are far more useful to him than guns or brute force in his fight against crime, which is a far cry from what the types of law enforcement he plays later in his career.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's a nice little snapshot of kind of what television was like in the early 90s there. All right, well, he got married in 92 to Michelle Moran. They have 2 daughters together, Autumn and Odessa. And so I know he gets like really jacked up and excited about being a grandpa on interviews. Like, he doesn't wait for people to ask him questions. He like takes over just so he can talk about how excited he is to be a grandpa. And the hosts are always like, all right, well, you were supposed to wait for me to cue you up, but okay. All right, got it.
That's funny. He seems like such a cool dude. Like, legit. He just seems like a really cool guy.
I agree.
That kind of gets it. I like him.
Uh-huh. I'm not going to mock someone for being an awesome grandpa.
Yeah.
I wish my dad acted like that because I need the fucking help.
He has no shame when it comes to how excited he is as a grandpa. He just like nerds out about it hardcore without props. It's kind of cool. It's cool to watch.
I love it.
Did anybody get a chance to watch his performance as Curly in The Three Stooges? Kind of his last movie where he had some hair?
I didn't.
I wanted to.
No.
But I couldn't find it.
Let's just say it's miles better than Wired as a biopic, from everything I can tell.
Well, it has surprisingly better scores than I thought, with a 73 audience.
Yeah.
6.9 IMDb and a 6.2 TMDb. That's way better than I thought it was going to be.
It definitely has like a pretty heavy TV movie feel to it, but it's not bad. It wasn't a bad movie to watch. It gets some criticism, I think, because of the like any biopic, the angle that they take. Some people didn't love, but I thought the casting, he's a good cast for the Curly, goofy character, because Curly was like the heart of the Three Stooges. And unfortunately, if you know anything about the Three Stooges, his story is the most heartbreaking of all of them too, given the medical problems he runs into towards the end of the run. I didn't know all that about the Three Stooges and the kind of the grinding they had to do in the industry.
It sounds better than what I read, because I saw that it was like pretty standard, like a friendly type biopic. Like, it doesn't really get into them. It's more surface level is what I saw. That's part of the reason why I didn't really chase it down, because I was like, oh, okay, I don't need to see this.
It's not hard hitting. It's a TV movie, so it's, they're only going to do so much.
Yeah.
But Curly's such a fascinating character, so it was interesting to watch him play him.
The Three Stooges were hilarious. To this day, I still find them funny, so I'm bummed out I didn't get a chance to watch that.
I don't know why I have never found the Three Stooges funny, man. Oh,
you're crazy.
That was the only thing that turned me off from watching this movie. It was like, oh, it's a Three Stooges. Like, not for me.
Documentary probably would have been preferred, but it's fine. I've watched much worse films for this podcast over 6 years period, for sure. Much worse. Some of them are on this podcast, and we haven't talked about them yet. So, but not Daddy-O. I've never seen Daddy-O. It's a 15-episode run that he did in 2000, another TV show.
I do have a fact from this, though, is once this show did not get renewed, his wife had a heart-to-heart, which is going to come shortly for me as well. For this exact reason, his wife came to him and said, why don't you, lose a little weight? Try to not play these kind of roles, and you could play like other, like you could be a tough cop. And he was like, you know what? It fucking worked. That ended up being great advice.
It worked.
Well, yeah, because I read that he had started losing his hair because of some kind of accident on set. I don't know if it was in college. Whatever it was. It sounds like he had some kind of hair issue. By the Shield, he went fully bald. Just fully embraced it. So
good move.
Yeah.
I endorse that.
Same.
And then he did 4 episodes of Family Guy from 2000 2001, which I thought was interesting because usually people join things like Family Guy after they do their first big like hit thing, and he joined before it. So I think that's kind of interesting. All right, highest critic score is another voice role as Chihiro's father in Spirited Away from 2001, and Matti has it.
Yeah, man, dude, it's so much nicer to watch a good movie instead of watching. I think I watched Arthur the last time I was on for Greta Gerwig.
Hell yeah, you did.
Unfortunately, though, like Arthur for Greta Gerwig was kind of like way more relevant to the podcast than the English dub of Spirited Away, where our Munson voices the main character's father for about 5 minutes out of the 2 hours and 5 minute movie, and then gets turned into a voiceless pig. So I wouldn't say he has a whole lot to do in this film. And what he does do is like, it's like, yeah, that's Michael Chiklis. He's saying a couple words. He's saying, "Come on, Chihiro, let's go." And then that's about it. So I don't think this moved the needle in terms of like convincing anybody that he was, an insane voice actor or anything like that. But it's pretty cool to get to say that you were, one of the English dubs for Spirited Away, which is obviously kind of roundly considered one of the greatest animated movies of all time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Many people say it's one of the best movies of the 21st century. It is just for people who don't know, it's from Studio Ghibli. It's directed by Hayao Miyazaki. It is the highest grossing of the Studio Ghibli movies with 396 million worldwide. That's by almost double, I think. I think, like Princess Mononoke and The Boy and the Heron both have made over 200 million, but this is ostensibly the one that is most watched, though I think most of that actually does come from Japan itself. At the time, it was the highest grossing Japanese. If you haven't seen it, would highly recommend it. It's kind of hard to talk about just because it's all over the place. There, parentheses positive. Like there's just so much going on. There's so much kind of pulling from different parts of Japanese mythology. And as a Western viewer, you kind of, I'm not totally sure what you're supposed to know and what you're not supposed to know and what's kind of vague and what's not vague, but all of it kind of creates this almost like phantasmagorical adventure through a spirit house or a bathhouse in the spirit world where these kami is what they're called, go and relax. And so Chihiro is our protagonist. She's a young girl and she is navigating this spirit world, trying to get back to her parents who were turned into pigs. So there's a lot of thematic depth to it. A lot of it goes over my head even still watching it. But the thing that I took away from it on rewatch, which I watched it yesterday, first is that, it's kind of surprising that this is sort of the one, not surprising, but I was sort of trying to watch it through the lens of what makes this one the one that everybody gloms onto as, the greatest animated film of all time when you compare it to some of the other Studio Ghibli films. Because my personal favorite is Princess Mononoke. But I think what this one does a really good job at is actually being very accessible for both children and adults. Whereas I think Princess Mononoke is pretty scary for kids, and something like, obviously Ponyo or Totoro, those are both a little more child-oriented and they're a little more whimsical. So it is really cool to just kind of see the design of the spirit world, to see all these different creatures. Some of them are just absolutely disgusting. I hate the villain in this. I think she's so unpleasant to look at. She has a bird that basically just has her face on it, also extremely unpleasant. There's a giant baby, extremely unpleasant. There's a sludge monster, very unpleasant. But then there's also really adorable things. You've got the Susuwatari, there's a little mouse creature that's really cute. So I think it kind of has something for everybody, and I can totally imagine, wherever you come from it, as either as a parent or as a fan, like an adult who is a fan of the medium, or as a child, right? There's something there for you. And it's just a really, really great experience. It is a little long, I think, probably for kids. It's over 2 hours, which is...
I have to say 2 hours, right?
Yeah, very long for an animated movie. But the only other thing that I took away from it is that the score is just gorgeous. Very much reminds me of like Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, that's sort of the thing that I kind of first get, just that sort of very like idle, quiet, relaxing score that then kind of builds as the action goes. But there's some really fun set pieces here. If you guys haven't seen it, would highly recommend it.
It's an odd entry for his filmography.
Yeah.
And it's a cool one for him.
Yeah.
But when you look at the rest of his filmography, there's not a lot of, I think there's 3 total films that have positive critic rankings, where it's not the little splat.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's this, 1985, and the Deathstroke movie. That's it on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Monty, I fully agree with your review. The first time I watched this, I watched it based purely on every other person saying it's incredible. And I was not prepared for what I was about to watch. So like I read the plot and I was like, oh, all right. And I turned it on and I was like, whoa, like I need to like I needed to lock in more for a cartoon than I expected to. I was like, I don't even fully understand what's happening right now. But like you were entranced by the animation. That woman is repulsive. I fully agree. It's one of those movies where I was like watching. I was like, I think I have to watch this again because I don't fully understand what's happening, but I want to understand.
Monty, did this win an Oscar?
Yeah, it did.
That's really cool.
I think second ever animated. Is that right? After Shrek?
Could be.
2 peas in a pod, those 2 films.
This movie I saw late in the same way that James did. I just saw it because everyone was like, this is the greatest movie of all the movies. I watched it in my film studies class with my students so they could watch something with me for the first time. And I was hiding on my face the what the fuck is going on that I was having while watching this movie. Because it is bizarre.
Yeah.
Which like prevents me from recommending it strongly to people. Because I just feel like you have to be very open-minded to go into this, which is why, like, I get why, like, the film community embraces this. But to just go out on the streets and be like, hey, man, you need to watch Spirited Away. I don't know if I could do that because I'd have to answer a lot of questions. I loved your review because it speaks to what really makes it great. I think it works so well because of its thematic weight. It almost feels like literature, and, like, there's just a lot of work that you as a viewer have to do in a good way. You're interpreting things, you're tracking things, you're spending time really thinking and considering a movie and what's going on and how you feel about it. And it kind of forces you to do that. And I think it's brilliant. I think it looks beautiful. One thing that's consistent, if you want to get into like anime, and this is someone who doesn't watch a lot of anime and a lot of anime movies, but the ones I have seen, if you're a person who likes scores, then anime movies are where it's at. I haven't seen one that has a bad score or one that I don't absolutely love. And this one is right alongside with that. I love it. It's a bizarre thing to be talking about on the Michael Chiklis podcast.
Good one for Matti. Good one for Matti.
Aubrey, the experience you had with your class, hilarious. I had that exact experience with my wife as we both watched it together, and she was like, what's going on? And I had no answers for her. I was like, there's a boy.
This is the best animated movie ever. Just haven't watched it.
It is. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry.
Speaking to that, like, I don't know if you could recommend it to everybody thing. It is interesting because, you know, I grew up watching a lot of the Studio Ghibli. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but you know, those movies, my mom, when we were kids, like she would sometimes go to Japan for work and then she would come home and bring over these things, and they would be on VHS, so they wouldn't have subtitles. It would all just be in Japanese. So it took me, I don't know, maybe like years of my life to see Princess Mononoke not in Japanese, which I don't speak. And so I recently watched that again, you know, a couple years ago, and I had subtitles on. I'm a subber, not a dubber.
Yeah.
Except for this episode, I guess.
Yeah, I don't like dubs either.
And I watched it and I was like, this is so much like slower and darker and more vicious than I remembered as a movie that I watched as a kid. And like, it's almost, you know, because like it is so crazy and there's so many weird things, but it is bizarrely very accessible for children. And I don't know if that's maybe just a language barrier thing where you don't fully understand what it's going on, but like characters are always like bleeding from their mouths and it's disgusting, and they're always talking about death and these very real like scary things for children where they're losing their parents and all this stuff. But it does work in a way that I almost can't even like explain why. Yeah. But I'd be interested to know like what somebody who's like not normally, into sort of odder movies, I guess, if you want to call this an odd movie, like what they would think and whether it would still work on them just because of how sort of like indelible it is.
Yeah, this is the first time we've covered this on the podcast. We've talked about The Tale of Princess Kaguya, I think 4 times. There's 4 Munsons that do the English dub of that. So like we've hit a couple of the Studio Ghibli films.
To be fair to the data, this movie did not come up on my initial Michael Chiklis scrape, so I just added it.
139.
And even in an uncredited role, he climbs up to 134.
Go be you.
That's how good this movie is.
Go be you.
All right. That's right. No longer at the bottom.
Not last, baby.
It's an amazing flex. Amazing flex for Spirited Away.
Yeah.
The Studio Ghibli film and up 6 points.
It world grossed over $300 million. It U.S. grossed $14 million.
There you go.
I'm surprised it didn't come up on the initial search. So thank God he's not last. I love that.
Yeah, if you just chiming in now, they'll have no idea that we mentioned 140 on the front end. So
that's right.
All right, let's talk about The Shield. Detective Mackey, 2002, 2008, 89 episodes. This is the role that I feel like a lot of people know him from.
I'm legitimately excited to hear you guys talk about this because this is what I know him from, and I've never even seen this. Like, it's a huge show, and it's one of those things where when I get to my Munson score, I'll bring this up. I feel like my score is almost incomplete because I haven't watched this, but I wasn't good at this. I couldn't do it, but I'm really excited to hear how he does in it.
I watched a full first season of The Shield. I had never seen it. I watched it for this podcast.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was like, this is what he's most well known for. I was like, again, going back to my viewing growing up, like, oh, the Commish lost weight and now he's doing like kind of like a Bruce Willis role. That looks cool. And I never watched the show. That was the only part that like passed me. And so I watched it. And let me tell you, his character is not what I expected him to be. They make him like a fucking ladies man. And I was like, ooh, I wasn't prepared for him to be like hey, like, let me tell you under my breath, like you, like, just tell me if it wasn't the best sex you've ever had and I'll stop bothering you. And I was like, fucking Chiklis coming in strong. I was like, okay.
Aubrey, to give you perspective, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, the pilot and the second episode. The first episode, he shoots another cop straight in the dome, just absolutely takes out one of his friendlies. And then the second episode, kidnaps a basketball player to fix a basketball game, who then proceeds to have very aggressive sex in front of these cops. And it's a whole thing.
It's like dark. Like that basketball thing goes a couple episodes.
I didn't make it that far.
They essentially kidnapped this dude. They're like having him fuck hoes in front of them. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
The pilot episode is him killing another cop and then covering it up. Like, that's out the gate. And the other piece I took away from, before you guys give a much better review, Aubrey, Blue Streak came out in 1999. I would think that Michael Chiklis saw Blue Streak, saw how Martin Lawrence's character handled Dave Chappelle in that interrogation room, and said, you know what I'm going to bring to my character? That kind of energy, and I'm going to beat the shit out of people in the interrogation room. That's what he's doing in the show. Take his fucking head.
It's just like the dirtiest dirty cop, but his true north is like what he thinks is the right thing to do. And so like he wants to help people, but he's fucking murdering people left and right. Like he's like beating the shit out of people, but it's like people that are, it's, oh, the cop ended up being like a rat who was ratting them out to the drug dealers that they didn't get a warrant for and just bursted through the dude's door and started offing him. I was like, okay, so like there's like he is a hero in his mind, but he's like pretty much just leaving a wake of dead people in his path, but it's because these are bad people, and you're like, well, actually, that guy is a rat, telling drug dealers maybe he should die. And it's fascinating to see, because it's like a hardcore for a cable television show. The pilot came out like 3 weeks before 9/11, and he's like, are we as a country ready to see a shithead cop that isn't a hero, because like we just saw cops like running into burning buildings like 2 weeks ago. And it's like he's sitting there and he's like, his best friend's a hooker who he's not going to have sex with despite how much she offers, and because he's really looking out for her. But then in the next scene, it's just like going to a drug dealer's house and putting a gun like on his dick and being like, I don't care that I don't have a warrant, like give me everything I want. I'm like, Jesus, dude, like pick a side here, man.
I mean, he beat out some big competition for the Emmy that year, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he beat out Martin Sheen for The West Wing, Kiefer Sutherland for 24, and then 2 different actors from 6 Feet Under to win that award.
James, what year was Sopranos out?
That was 90s, so I think that was a little bit before this, but...
maybe right around the same time. Yeah.
It's probably an overlap, yeah.
So this is probably in that buildup of the anti-heroes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a pretty important role culturally then.
I was really surprised to hear that fact from earlier about how it sort of like paved the way for everything to be taken seriously, and especially FX, right?
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting, I guess. Has anybody seen past the first season? Because I wonder if, like, obviously, like Breaking Bad, he gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
It seems like he starts pretty bad, but I wonder where this goes for, what is it, like 8 seasons maybe?
I had some of the later episodes on in the background, and kind of what I thought with his character is I don't necessarily know that his actions softened, but I think he had a little bit more grace in the execution of them. I thought in the later episodes he was less abrasive about it, but it seemed like he was still doing a lot of the same shit.
Mm.
He kind of comes across as like, like the police commissioner or the mayor's like junkyard dog, kind of, where it's like, hey, I'm going to say out loud, we're going to do everything we can do to clean the streets, and everyone else is going to follow the rules. But this is my guy that, like, if I'm like, hey, we need to solve this murder, and he just kicks the door in and threatens to murder all the people who've been accused, and they're like, all right, it was fucking this guy. And they're like, all right, I kind of get it, but it's like, it is dark. And so I could totally see how people latched onto that, especially at that time.
Yep. And I think this is an important role for him as well, because I know the way the Commish ended, he was not very happy with, because they were told by the studio, like, hey, if you beat out one of these other primetime shows in the ratings, you meet a certain level, like, I'll buy you whatever you want. And they did, and they still ended up canceling the show. So,
oh, interesting.
He had an 90 episode run. So coming into this, this gave him a chance to become a bona fide television star. His best line that I saw, Aubrey, in the first episode is he ends up in the interrogation room with this guy, and then he's like, what are you going to do now? Good cop, bad cop? And his response is, good cop, bad cop, went home for the day, and then proceeds to beat the shit out of this guy.
This show sounds wild.
Yeah,
it is. It is.
He's trying to find like a girl who's been like a 4-year-old who's been kidnapped, and he's like, this guy fucking knows, and everyone's like, yeah, he does, he's just not telling us. He's like, oh, he'll tell me. And he just goes in there and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna kill this fucking guy.
Yeah, the Shield, definitely an anchor of his career for sure. Speaking of anchors, though, back to back, Fantastic Four plays Ben Grimm, the Thing, and then back returns as the character in Rise of the Silver Surfer, 2005 and 2007. And I know James has a whole thing planned for his review of Fantastic Four.
Go, James.
In rewatching it, I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think it's overhated.
Yeah.
I think it's overhated. I rewatched it, and there is a flawed script, and it's a little underwhelming, and it's a little cheesy, but it's not this like heaping pile of shit that everyone claims it to be. And in rewatching it, I realized there's a couple issues. Jessica Alba is incredible businesswoman. She started Honest, which is a company that is like clean products for babies. I think it's publicly traded. It's worth like $200 million. That, and on top of being brilliant, she's breathtakingly beautiful. So what a life you have. She is so fucking bad in this movie. Like, it is,
Yeah.
it is remarkable.
It's funny.
It's crazy, bro. She is,
Yeah.
her and the guy who plays Mr. Fantastic, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Like,
Ian Grufford.
dude, so bad. They are so bad. And so, like, if those roles had been properly casted, yes, the plot is not good and the graphics are not great, but like, it's not as bad as people have made it out to be. Like, Johnny Storm doing snowboarding and motocross while he's bursting into flames, fucking stupid but awesome. Like, I think Chris Evans is great in this role. I think Julian McMahon is great in this role. And then before I knew the fact about Stan Lee, I wanted to say I didn't like Chiklis, and then he turned into the Thing, and I thought he was great as the Thing. I really did, dude. Once the suit comes on, I think he's nailing it.
Yeah, I rewatched both of these too, the first one and the second one. The second one's a little harder to defend, but I agree with you, man. Like, the first one, I found just kind of like surprisingly easy to watch.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, you know, it's a 2000s, it's kind of got some of that, like, even like the best from that era, you know, like X1, X2, like, have a little bit of that sort of like 2000s sheen, and sort of like the way people are dressed, the way people talk, the comedy is all just a little like, eh.
It feels like they're trying to sell you like a Big Mac. Like,
yeah.
Like, you're going to go get the Fantastic Four cup this weekend, folks. And you're just like, eh.
Yeah. And it's just for like that time period. But outside of that, I actually think, not for nothing, like, it doesn't look terrible for being 21 years old. Like, I think especially the Thing in the full prosthetics looks very, very good. And it's very, very, like, it's almost like Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like aged pretty damn well. It looks significantly better and more lived in than, what's his name's, Eben Moss Bacharach's, like, his Thing. And it just, like, you can feel that he's like interacting with it. There's actual color in this movie. They actually use their powers. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm being way too nice to the movie or something, but for whatever reason, I was like, this is totally fine. Like, I didn't hate it.
I think it also suffered that, like a nuke going off in superhero world and the zeitgeist. Batman Begins came out like 2 months before this.
Oh, geez.
True.
It's just like, everyone's just like, what am I watching? What is this garbage? And
that's a good
as you're
point.
watching the Thing's wife, who the first 10 minutes of the movie, the only thing they establish about his character, other than like him and Johnny bicker, is that he fucking loves his wife. And the moment
that wife is awful.
The moment she sees him, she runs like he is a monster. And then 5 minutes later, after he just saves all these people on the bridge, she's like, happens to be on the bridge and is repulsed by him and puts down the wedding ring in front of him. And then his fat rock hands can't pick it up. Hilarious. That is funny no matter what way you cut it. Like, to not even like go full Frankenstein with his wife and being like, oh my God, and just take off. That's hilarious.
As she's running through the streets in her lingerie.
Yeah.
I think I understand how you guys got lulled into being so nice about this movie.
Oh, no.
I think this movie is a disaster.
See, I was going to say, I didn't say it was as good as it's just not like a pile of dog shit like everyone says it is. Like, I was like, it is fine for a lower tier. Like, it's corny.
I think you can land in this place. Like, I'm not mad. Like, I wouldn't argue any of the points that you guys are necessarily making.
You're not mad, you're just disappointed? Is that what you're going to say?
No, it's just like, I'm not mad at you landing in that spot, because I don't think there's anything that, like, there's nothing like real train wreck. Like, I can't not look at this.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad, but it's bad in a way that's just like, oh, this is bad. And you kind of go about your business. So if you're expecting it to be the worst thing you've ever seen, it'll overshoot that bar.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see anything that's going to like really just like shock you into being like, this is so, like, I can't believe I'm watching something so bad. Because it's like, its big problems are not flashy things. I give it a pass for its time on how it looks. Like I can't praise some of the movies that I praise of this time and then kill this movie for its CGI. Like it is what it is. Some of it's going to look terrible. That's how it is. And I'm okay with that. Overall, it looks more or less fine. I don't have any issues with that. My biggest issue is that the chemistry of all of the people involved in this movie is horrible.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
For a movie that's about 4 people that are supposed to be a family, I can't stand watching any of them interact with each other. And that's a huge flaw to me.
Reed Richards is a one-note character, and he's supposed to be the leader. They just make him a nerd, and like that's it. It's like it's like, oh, is he dating? Is he dating the hottest woman alive that's right next to him? It's like, not really. He's just kind of a nerd. Like, oh, cool, sick. This great character.
The 2 main characters are awful together and apart.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Evans is hard for me to even look at in this. Every time he gets on screen and gets to talking, I'm just like, I can't do any of it.
I liked him in this, dude. I thought he was I think he plays a good asshole, and they just made him like, dude, he's skiing and he bursts into flames and he's in a hot tub shirtless and he's trying to fuck the ski instructor. That's hilarious. It's just like, you just have to abandon the plot entirely and appreciate his performance of just being a full-on asshole.
He is an asshole and he's the worst. And I hate him, and I wish I didn't have to watch him do this. I also think Michael Chiklis is actively bad in this.
Wow.
So, like, that's why, like, I think the Stan Lee stuff is like, I can't argue with Stan Lee, the creator of these characters.
No, I mean, I disagree with Stan Lee, but I do think Chiklis was good once he put the rock suit on.
I think he just ultimately doesn't have a whole lot to do here.
No.
None of them do.
So what you say I find really interesting, because like it's another thing where I would say I'm not mad at that take, but I think that's why I don't like it. Because I think from what I know about The Thing and from what I've seen from the movies and the little bit I've read of the comic books, The Thing is the most interesting person to me.
Yeah.
Because he has the most compelling arc.
No, dude, it's like a real Frankenstein thing, man.
Of his power situation. Yeah, it's really interesting to me. But not only is it like him becoming something like, of the 4, he's the only one that becomes something like outrageous and terrible, or at least on the surface. But outside of that, he's also really interesting because he's this super loyal, kind of nice knucklehead. Like he's super dumb, kind of. And it's like there's an element of him that's just like, it's almost like an all shucks type thing, which I like as a character. It's interesting. Like, how does he manage with the smartest person in the world?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other people that are really smart doing all of these smart things. And he can just pick up stuff. Like, I think that's an interesting place. I get none of that from Chiklis. I get none of any of the things that are interesting about The Thing from this performance. He's sad. Okay. But that's really it. And I don't necessarily blame him entirely. I do blame him in part, but not entirely, because I don't know if there was enough runway for anybody to get off anything interesting when, like, you spend, like you said, the first 10 to 20 minutes of this movie establishing how important his wife is to him, and then she runs away in terror the first time we see her.
Yeah.
There's not really a ton you can do with that.
Yeah. Stupid story. But that's what makes it fun.
It's definitely funny. I laughed at that part because I go, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
But I don't like him in this. I think it's bad. I think the movie's bad. It wasn't like, it's not the worst thing I watched over the course of this time. I'm glad I rewatched them because it had been a long time since I've seen them.
You make some good points, man. I concede a little bit there. I think everything you said is completely spot on. I guess I don't know, because I think I have that issue with a lot of superhero movies, and especially now, it's almost just like, it almost feels nostalgic to watch it, to go back to a time where it was like, these things are stupid, but they're not like, get a load of how stupid we are, like winky stupid, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess, you know, I can't say it's better than any of even Spider-Man 3. I can't say it's better than probably even X-Men 3, you know? So like, I don't know exactly what I'm saying, that it's like I don't think it's good. I think I've said that multiple times. I don't know. It sounds so pathetic to just be like, at least it's an actual movie.
Right. That's right, though.
But there's something almost like charmingly bad about it.
Yeah. You could tell what they were going for.
I don't know.
I would say it's bad and not offensive. When you think of something like Morbius or some shit like that, it's offensively bad. Like, I'm mad that I spent my time watching this. This isn't that.
Maybe that's what I'm defending.
Yeah, like, I was never outraged. I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't have a terrible time. Like, I could see myself watching that movie again.
But you are right. I mean, there's nothing in it that helps you understand why the Fantastic Four is such a beloved comic family, right? It doesn't honor them in any particularly good way. I would argue neither does First Steps. It seems like a bizarrely difficult thing to adapt, and I don't know if it's just because the thing specifically is so hard to get right and to get to look right and to get to be taken seriously. I don't know if Doctor Doom is too stupid of a character. I don't know if it's Galactus, you know?
The problem is that Doctor Doom's an incredible character. He's stupid in this movie. They don't explain why he's even upset.
Yeah.
Stockholder value, maybe? I don't know. There's not a really...
Also, making superheroes, wouldn't that make your company like really, really, really rich? Like, wouldn't stockholder value go up if they were like, oh, you just made the first 4 superheroes ever?
Julian McMahon, I think, is crushing the stupid role they've given him. I was like, damn, he's such a good asshole. You guys wasted this performance.
He's a really interesting actor.
Yeah.
He plays it well the way it's written.
Yeah.
I just get that people are annoyed that they want to see the Doom character be more, just bigger.
One real positive I'll give to these Fantastic Four movies is it's a really interesting concept of having superheroes that everyone knows who they are.
Yeah.
And this movie really does. This movie kind of plays with that a bit. And I like that, especially in the second one. I like that. Yeah. The idea that everyone knows exactly who these people are. And we have to now engage with the fact that we know the people with these powers. And not a ton of superhero movies have to deal with that. And this one does. And I find that, at least that part, compelling.
Well, I'm going to keep us moving. People got their fill of Fantastic Four. That's for damn sure.
I'll save you some time in a second, Kyle. Don't worry.
I was about to say, you're queued up for largest Critic Gap with Rise Blood Hunter as Detective Rawlins alongside Lucy Liu and Robert Forster from 2007.
Here's what I'll say about this movie, since you laid out all of the little stats. This is a vampire movie that doesn't say the word vampire in it. It also features Michael Chiklis in the hour that I watched for about 5 minutes.
Nice.
It's a weird movie that's combining fantasy elements. Lucy Liu is a writer or a reporter who kind of stumbles her way into to these vampires who kill her, but she wakes up in a morgue and then becomes a vampire and then seeks revenge on the people that killed her. And while that in and of itself doesn't sound absolutely terrible, the execution of the idea is. It's not very good. Lucy Liu is interesting because I just think Lucy Liu is interesting. Like, I wouldn't say you need to watch this movie because of it.
Yeah.
She's just interesting. So if you happen to be watching this movie, you have an average performance from Lucy Liu. Everything else is pretty bad. I will never watch this movie again, and I will pretty soon forget that I had ever seen this movie.
That's happened to me many a times on this pod.
I watched it. It's not very good. And I feel bad because I know this was not a good thing for her career. Like, this movie did not do well. And when you're in an industry where being a female lead is sometimes hard to get those spaces, to have a movie not do well like this didn't help her career. But you can go listen to Lucy Liu episode if you want more detail on that.
It sounds like they were heavily inspired by Blade, except for all the good parts.
I mean,
yeah.
Yes. There is a character named Bishop, too. So isn't there a Bishop in the Blade movies as well? It will not shock you that Chiklis is playing a law enforcement person in this movie.
Oh, you don't say.
That's why they hired him. The baddie is not compelling at all.
No.
It's not built well from a character standpoint. So it's very forgettable. But it's the largest critic gap because he doesn't have a lot of movies where the critics rated the movie higher than the audiences.
Yes, he does not.
That's what we have to play with.
Wow.
So thanks, Aubrey. Thanks for laying on that one. Vampire and all. We'll get you a better vampire movie next time.
Yikes.
2008 to 2014, you got a 6-year gap here between reviews. First up, Eagle Eye. 2008 plays Callister alongside Rosario Dawson and Anthony Mackie. I like Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye, watching Eagle Eye in 2026 was a bizarre experience considering where we're at with AI and everything going on. So, like,
oh, yeah.
A movie that is aged well.
And Shia.
It's aged perfectly for the time.
You wish for the times when life was like Eagle Eye. You yearn for that privacy.
I like Eagle Eye.
I do remember him from this movie, to be honest.
How do you remember him in this?
I just remember him getting locked in the room.
Oh, he gets locked in the room.
Yeah, I like that he promoted himself to defense secretary. Went from detective to defense secretary. I love it.
Chiklis is fine, I guess, in this.
He's fine.
I think the movie's cool. As a person who is a fan of Shia LaBeouf's acting, I think he goes a long way in making this movie work.
I agree.
I just like the movie because I like watching Shia. I think it's cool seeing all these other people in it. It's a fun little movie to watch. Kind of falls apart at the end, but it's just a good time.
Yeah.
I remember the final scene when they're with the kids playing band, and he comes in there and starts a ruckus to keep people from the bomb from going off. It's like, oh, I remember this. All right, No Ordinary Family, a TV show he was on for 20 episodes from 2010 to 2011. Do my customary pause if anybody's a No Ordinary Family fan. Nope. How about Vegas? Plays Vincent, 2012, 2013, 21 episodes.
I bet I've seen the B-roll of this being like, hey, it's on. When I just looked at the name and the fact that he was in 21 episodes, I was like, I bet this was just like Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and I just knew it was a thing that existed. And I'm like, I can't believe people watch that show. It's been on for a while, and then like went on with my day.
Dennis Quaid is the other co-lead in Vegas with him. So a little Munson's crossover there. I almost forgot to mention High School. Did anybody else watch High School? That bizarre stoner movie.
I'm interested to hear your take on it, though.
So he plays a principal. He has, like, look up his character's image on IMDb or Google, whatever you choose.
Oh, no. Dr. Leslie Gordon?
He's got, like, early Michael Chiklis hair before Three Stooges. But he plays a really wacky off-ball, like, goofball principal who's got weird sexual fantasies. The movie is it's a weird experience.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is some wild hair, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's got the Big Earn hair going on there.
Yeah, it looks like 1978 hair plugs.
Uh-huh.
That's awful.
It's like if you like a good stoner comedy that's dumb. Adrian Brody plays this like tattooed drug dealer who is toting a gun all over the movie, and he's wildly entertaining in his role. I'll give him that. But it's a screenplays all over the damn place. But it's just such a wild, off-the-wall movie for him to be in, considering the rest of his filmography and the type of character he's playing. Parker, 2013, alongside J-Lo and Jason Statham.
And Statham.
I haven't seen this one.
I can't tell if I've seen it or not because...
they blend together.
What you need to know about this movie is that Michael Chiklis plays the actual baddie. He's no longer on the side of law enforcement. He's running the crew of bad guys in this movie.
Oh.
J-Lo and Jason Statham are trying to foil their plan.
J-Lo has no business in this movie.
Oh, really?
She looks so good in this movie, too. She's unbelievably gorgeous.
She looks great, but she has no business being in this movie. Statham gets, like, screwed over by this crew, and then he's operating by his own code, so he's seeking revenge, and J-Lo is just in it.
Wait, are you talking about the beekeeper?
This movie's fine.
She's a real estate agent that he runs into while he's trying to case the joint, and she gets too close to it.
It's a good enough time. There's one fight scene in the hotel room that made the whole thing worth it.
Okay.
There's a fight scene in the hotel room, and it's so good. It's really brutal. I loved it. The movie itself it was a good enough time.
Now I got to rewatch it.
It's not a good movie, but it's not a waste of watch. I don't know if that helps best.
Yep, that's a perfect description of it. Also, don't like Michael Chiklis' performance in this either.
Oh no.
He's not very good at this. I think there's a reason he doesn't play this character much beyond this.
He should be. He knows all the rules, but he doesn't follow them.
You're just so used to seeing him on the other side of the law, even if he's sketchy and unethical.
It's this weird moment where he is really aggressive with J-Lo, and then someone else gets aggressive with her, and he picks her up and is like really caring.
Yeah,
and it's like, what? Like 2 minutes ago, you were just putting a gun in her face, and now you're like, it's okay, we won't hurt you. And it's just like, I don't know what's happening.
I think you'd like the Shield.
American Horror Story 2014-2015. He was on that season for 13 episodes, played Dell. I read about how he said it was not a pleasant experience, just with like, not that the show wasn't great, it's just like the filming of the show was just a lot for him.
I believe the exact quote was, it was the worst experience of my career.
No kidding.
Damn.
Well, he said, he's like, I'm used to playing like action or, like dramas or comedies. It's like, I'm playing horrors. Like, it was just like, everything was so dark. He's like, and so when I got into the character, I was like, I felt like depressed. And I was like, well, I guess that's the gig of acting. I mean,
How was this show? I don't remember this season.
You're asking the wrong person.
I've never seen this show.
I've seen the first season.
Uh-huh.
I liked it, but then I just stopped following up on the anthology thing, so I have no idea.
My exact same story. Watched the first season. It's solid, and I just didn't keep up with it.
And then there was one for another actor we covered that I watched a couple episodes for that.
Probably Andre Holland.
Andre Holland, thank you. This is an example of what you were saying before, and I experienced it with my movie that I reviewed, where I forgot I watched these things, and I also went on IMDb to look up trivia mid-movie because I was like, what the fuck happened here?
According to Variety, that ranks the 12 American Horror Story seasons.
12?
There's 12 of them.
Holy shit.
His falls number 6, so right in the middle. It's called Freak Show.
Okay.
Is his season.
Does he play a football coach on American Horror Story?
No, he does not. But he does in When the Game Stands Tall, where he plays Terry, an assistant coach, our largest audience gap case.
What a smooth transition, Kyle.
Transition. It was the best.
Yeah, well done.
You guys should do that more often. That was nice.
This was a good role for Chiklis in context of what we've talked about. He's asked to play a normal, non-cartoonish version of a high school football coach. Whereas up until this point, I feel like a lot of the things, either by choice or direction, have been really, really over the top. The 2014 film, When the Game Stands Tall, is a sports film directed by Thomas Carter, based on the book by the same name of Neil Hayes. The film is the story of the De La Salle High School Spartans, a California high school football team that achieved a 151-game winning streak.
Crazy.
Holy hell, that's hard. Like even if they were a high school team playing eighth graders, at some point they would get bored and lose. The fact that they won 151 straight games is really impressive.
Yeah, you're churning out pro athletes that have to be coming through that program. If that's, what is that, a decade of football games? That's crazy.
12 years, 1992 to 2004. In the film, Chiklis plays high school football assistant coach. And I think it's an interesting point in his career because I think this demonstrates some emotional range that we've not seen so far. As someone who myself has spent more than half my life coaching collegiate athletics, this was an interesting film to watch. And I have to say that I liked it more than I thought I would. That being said, it certainly falls victim to pretty much all the sports cliches ever done in Hollywood because it feels too much like a TV movie, in my opinion. But here's what I did like about the movie. Early on, I stopped thinking about this as a football movie, and I started thinking more about the team and the coaching staff's way of building and maintaining a championship culture that survived year after year after year. And anybody who's coached outside of the professional ranks knows, like, every 3 to 4 years, your whole team's brand new. So the fact that they went 2 or 12 years, which is pretty much nearly 4 full revolutions of their roster, is really impressive. The other thing I like that the film focuses more on what happens after they lost their first 2 games versus the winning streak. I also enjoyed watching the head coach calmly navigate the rocky waters of real life, teenage team dynamics, and an incredibly heavy winning streak while needing to be stoic and the never overreacting character. I thought this movie captured that really well. And this is where also I think Chiklis is good in this movie because he keeps things a little bit more lively. I kind of found him to be the voice of the audience because there were scenes where like these guys lost and they're feeling shitty about themselves. And he's like, hey, stop. We're not letting a game determine who we are in life. And like as somebody watching the movie, I was literally thinking that. But specifically, he plays Coach Terry Edson. The head coach's longtime friend and right-hand man. Chiklis strips away the hard-boiled demeanor that we've seen, especially associated with the Shield. He comes off a lot warmer. All that being said, I do have two major complaints about this movie. And one is something I hate about all sports movies. I hate when the PA announcer during a athletic contest and a football game in this thing, where they act like radio broadcasters.
Yeah.
There was a point in this movie where the PA announcer announces over the stadium that the De La Salle Spartans are getting tired because their players are two-way players. If I was ever at a volleyball match and I heard the announcer criticizing my players, I would probably get thrown out for strangling them with the microphone cord. But I think probably the biggest thing, and it is related to Chiklis, the makers of this movie did Coach Edson wrong. Coach Edson has a beautiful head of hair in real life. And Michael Chiklis has a cartoonish male pattern baldness, and it looks nothing like the real life Coach Edson. But that being said, I watched a lot of interviews with Coach Edson. He seemed very happy with the movie. The coaching staff and administrators actually got to see a screening of this movie to kind of sign off on what they liked about it and what they didn't like about it. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I definitely would line up with the audience and against the critics.
Case, I applaud you for giving this long, very well formulated, detailed review of the movie without explicitly mentioning this movie is not about football, Case. This movie is about Jesus, and football is the vehicle to talk about Jesus.
That's right.
This entire movie is
Amen.
Created, produced, directed to talk about why men need Jesus in their life, and now it gives them the anchor, and football is just the way to do it, which that's why I hate it. I hate this movie.
There's probably about 12 biblical references in here.
Here's the thing. We're going to talk about The Senior later. Way more subtle, this movie, like with Jim Caviezel's, like it's like, oh, Caviezel's in it. Yep, we know where this is going.
I knew immediately.
Yeah. I want to hear Aubrey, though.
Kyle said that very nicely. I don't like this movie. I will keep it to a couple of things I really don't like about it. From a movie standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, this is an underdog sports story. That's how it's positioned. That's how it's packaged. That's how you go through the beats of this. This team is overcoming adversity. And then in this game that they're playing a team that is outsized and outmatching them. And they have to overcome this with their grit. They're an underdog. We're supposed to cheer for them as underdogs. They won 151 straight games. It makes zero fucking sense that they're underdogs. Zero sense. And I could never get on board with that. And then, like, the big tragedy that makes them underdogs is they lose 2 games. That's it. Now, they do face some adversity off the field. Caviezel has, like, a heart attack. And then a former player is murdered in cold blood.
Mm-hmm. And
then gets ignored for an hour in this movie. But I think as an underdog story, it's a hurdle I could never get over. It's completely asinine that that's the situation that they're in. I didn't much like anything about this movie, except I do enjoy watching actors I like when they're young.
Yeah.
Have to do things. I like Alexander Ludwig.
Alex Ludwig.
I'm a big fan of his, so I loved seeing him in this, and I think he's interesting.
Clancy Brown.
I think Jesse T. Usher is actively bad in this and would make me ask some questions about who wrote this role for him and how they perceived him and what they asked him to do that I won't get into today. But I do like to see him doing things and being young. You could see the grassroots of what he did in The Boys a little bit with what his character looked like here. And I liked that.
Oh, he was Night Train, right?
Yep. A-Train.
Oh, okay. A-Train.
And then it's Stephen James. Stephen James is in this. Stephen James is a sneaky good actor. If you're thinking to yourself right now, who is Stephen James? You need to get familiar with Stephen James. He's a sneaky good actor. He's not very good in this again, but I think that betrays a bit of how that character was presented and what he was asked to do.
Like from a coaching nuance perspective, Case,
Yeah.
I respect your, because the battle they're fighting against the devil in this is complacency, right? And so that's, and as a coach, sometimes when you have a really successful program, you have to do that. The film's fine. I mean, Laura Dern and Clancy Brown are in it. That's cool.
Clancy Brown is hilarious.
Why is Laura Dern in this movie?
Get your paycheck. I don't know.
I really enjoyed this movie from a coaching nuance standpoint, and I am 100% going to read the book because that coach is listening to him in the interviews. He's a really interesting and impressive guy.
I looked up the alumni during that 12-year run they had. 16 NFL players during that 12-year run.
Oh, wow.
Was it Maurice Jones-Drew one of them?
Yeah, dude, some of them are like real good NFL players. MJD,
Yeah.
DJ Williams, the linebacker, TJ Ward, who's a Pro Bowler, Amani Toomer has a Super Bowl ring.
Oh, shit. Go Blue.
These are like really good, really good players.
Case, I will agree with you. My last one would be Michael Chiklis. I enjoy him in his role, especially when they're at the conference coaches meeting, because it reminds me of the stories you've told me about going to like the conference meetings, and you're like, these guys are fucking hacks.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious.
He's like, yeah, we'll play the best team in the country. And Michael Chiklis looks at him and you're like, are you sure? We didn't talk about that. He's like, yeah, whatever. Well, in the 4-year period before our last review, the big one we'll note here is Gotham. 41 episodes of that is Nathaniel.
I would like to watch this show, though. I've heard really good things.
All right, lowest critic score, last review of the night. James, 10 minutes gone, plays Frank. And will 10 minutes be gone from our lives? We'll find out.
Feels kind of fucked up that we're glossing over Gotham and then my review happens. I feel bad. I'm sure Gotham deserves some positive light.
Be in more movies and not TV shows, and we'll give you a better review.
10 Minutes Gone does not deserve more light. It's got the joy of being rated a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a 2019 crime thriller, stars Chiklis. He plays a supposed expert bank robber whose latest job ends with his brother dying and a stolen briefcase missing and 10 minutes of his memory wiped out. There's a crime boss who's played by Bruce Willis, and the movie itself is not as fascinating as the story behind. And Bruce Willis is, now we know, clearly going through the ends of his career and eventually his life from battles with, I believe it's like a dementia. And now we know that the reason we're seeing movies like this is because of that. And it becomes so fucking obvious as you watch the movie. And so when this movie came out, I'm sure people were like, what is this trash? And then the behind the scenes story is a little bit more fascinating. The movie's cliche, but it's not a 0, but it's like still like a 20 at best. Chiklis tries. He gives his character kind of like what he can do, a toughness, he can kind of carry the film there, but the material is just like so poorly written. It's clearly been diced up by production like a bazillion times. They don't really build on the characters. It's just, disposable adversaries, and the twist is very clear. The action's kind of funny. There's like, it reminds me a lot of like video games in like the early 2000s where it's like, there's a guy standing behind a barrel and you have to wait till he stands up to shoot him. It's like, oh, now you gotta shoot him now. It's like that. And you're like, because people aren't really aiming. It's just like cut scene to, oh, that guy's in a bush. Can't shoot him when he's there. Oh, he stood out. Now he's dead. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, it is bad. It feels like a made for TV movie, but it's not a 0. It's like, it's just, you've seen this attempt. It's a lazy try at something you've already seen a million times. And Chiklis is trying his best with it. I think what I learned as I was watching the trivia is this is also a movie that the moment it came out, Chiklis pretty much said he didn't really like how it ended up. He's like, he's like, ooh. I think it's the second one where he's like, yeah, didn't like what they did with that one. I was trying to do something completely different. But behind the scenes, so this movie was if you remember, it's the first fully independent movie of MoviePass, when MoviePass opened a studio and they were just going.
Oh, no way.
When they were going down in flames and like everyone was just doing cocaine at MoviePass headquarters. And shortly after this movie came out, the venture capitalist company that had invested in this sued them because they alleged that they were like using this and other movies as like a joint venture agreement. And so it immediately went to court. And so they're in these like legal battles, but there's also like what came out of that was claims that the main actress, her name's Meta Williams, invested in the movie and contractually guaranteed her screen time. So she essentially bought her way into a role, and that they cut it so that they met just the amount of screen time they agreed to in the contract for her character so that they wouldn't have to give her the money back. But they like removed her character from the movie other than that. And it's like clearly cut up in that way. But again, these are all alleged, but it did make it very funny. Bruce Willis filmed his every scene he's in the same hotel room that they flew him out for the movie in, and he shot it in an afternoon. So it was like, hey, we'll pay for your flight, stay here, and they just shoot it all in the hotel room, and then they send him home. Like shoestring budget. I think it only made like just over $300,000. It was like clearly the beginning of a money laundering scheme where it's like, our budget's going to be $12 million and we'll both get $1 million salaries, and then we'll make the rest of this movie, right?
Classic. I didn't watch it. Not that I'm principled or something. I watched Rupture from 2016, which is not much better.
Nope.
It's pretty bad as well.
Ooh.
Very different body horror vibes. I don't know if anybody else, Casey, you watched it?
I did. I felt it was promising in the first 10, 15 minutes. And then after that, it went, oh.
I did too.
Ooh.
It felt like a movie that like hit the film festival circuit. Like, ooh, this is going to be like an interesting body horror experience. And by the end, I was like, nah.
Yep.
Well, James, that wasn't 10 minutes gone. It was only like 4 minutes gone. So that's good. Appreciate you. All right, well, last couple of years, so here in the 2020s, first one is 2021, Don't Look Up, plays Dan. So we've talked about this with Tyler Perry, Jennifer Lawrence, and Leo DiCaprio. He plays like a Fox News correspondent in this universe, basically the conservative talk show host. Only has a couple scenes. All right, winning time, Rise of the Lakers Dynasty, Red Auerbach, 2022-23, 12 episodes.
Hell yeah.
Dude, he crushes this role.
Yeah.
I think he steals every scene that he's in.
Born to play him.
Yes, he was.
I agree.
I like this show a lot. I don't know what people's general thoughts are on it, but I think especially in season 2 when it gets away from being sort of like Adam McKay copy. Yeah, I think it's really fun. I love John C. Reilly in it. I love whoever plays Jeannie Buss.
Mm-hmm.
That actress is really good. I really like the actor that they have for Magic Johnson. And then by the end of season 2, they have this like growing rivalry / friendship between Magic and Larry Bird, and the whole. It's really fun to watch Boston be villains and like see the LA Boston rivalry and everything, and then it just gets canceled and they have to like rush through a whole bunch of stuff at the end, and it's a real bummer. I think he's great in this, and I really like the show a lot. I wish we got more of it.
I think I remember hearing that they were going to have a spinoff that was going to be the Celtics. That's why they were loading up on them, and then I think Jerry West and others filing a lawsuit against HBO may have put a hole in the boat of this project.
I love the way Jerry West was portrayed, and I don't even know if that's how he's like. Like if that's not how I was like, I'd be furious also. But like I think he was great.
And Adrian Brody is in this. He's freaking
as Pat Riley.
He kills it at
Pat Riley. He's so good.
Yeah.
Give him the Oscar for that.
The way they introduced Red Auerbach, and you've become accustomed to the charm of John C. Reilly as what's his fucking name?
Jerry Buss.
Jerry Buss, where it's just like he is charming and he's a smooth talker, and he uses his charm to get information from people because he's really smart, despite how like he comes across like he's just like a partier. And then he meets Red Auerbach, and Red Auerbach fucking cuts him in half and is like, I'm not going to be your friend. I'm not going to tell you how to do this. He's like, people think we win championships because of the luck of the Irish. He goes, it's because of fucking me. And I was like, he's fucking telling him to go fuck off. I absolutely love it. He's like, I will cut your heart out and still sleep like a baby. That's why we have, dynasties over here. And I was like, oof, that fucking killed him like that.
You guys are saying this might be his second best role after The Shield?
It could be.
I only did the first season of The Shield, and because this was more current and because I loved this show, I like this performance the best.
Might be, yeah. All right, last one we'll talk about is the aforementioned The Senior from 2023. He plays Mike, a story about a 59-year-old guy who decides to go back and play a year of college football. He still has 1 year remaining, and true story.
Yeah, I saw an ESPN featurette about the real life story of this. Division III has different eligibility rules. As long as you haven't used your years of full-time eligibility, then you can continue to play, at least when this happens. So
that's crazy.
The story basically, the way they frame it is his dad teaches him to fight everybody all the time growing up. Like, he's like, if you ever back down from a fight, I'll kick your ass. And if you don't, like, blah, blah. And then he ends up getting in so many fights, gets kicked off his college football team and has a revelation 30 years later that needs to go back and finish up 40 years later.
A couple of different ways you can summarize this. One that I succinctly did on Letterboxd is this movie seems like it was made by the people that say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
That's who wrote this movie.
Agreed.
Yep.
Everything that is said in this movie is a version of that. It's a bland cliche of a movie with nothing at all interesting happening in it the entire time.
Damn.
Michael Chiklis is, I get the concept. He's been out of football for 40 years by this point, but Michael Chiklis is like extra not athletic. It's hard to watch.
It's been a while.
Watching him try to run people down a linebacker is objectively funny. Whereas in the real story, the guy, he got a ton of playing time on like extra points. He was a regular. Like the way the movie frames it, he like gets a Rudy moment at the end of the season in one game. When in reality, the dude was doing extra point stuff all season. So they even undercut the story there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The story itself, there's elements of the story that are interesting. The fact that this guy went back and played that's interesting to a certain person, and I don't fault that person who finds that interesting. The story itself as a whole, not interesting. How he decides to go about this decision is basically him and a couple of people shooting the shit and being like, I think I could do it. And he doesn't.
That's the true story. I read that. That's the true story. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't anything heroic.
It's just not cinematic in any way.
No.
It's a movie made for a very small subsect of people, and they will love this movie. And I'm glad they have something.
You're not one of them.
No, it's not for me.
The only reason I said it's better than When the Game Stands Tall is because it definitely has the same type of production companies behind it, but they don't really talk about G's much, like, at all in the movie. Honestly, I kept waiting for it.
Yeah.
And it never really happened. They didn't anchor that. He does it when he intros the movie. The guy, the real life guy, he talks about like being a man of God. And then it doesn't really come up the rest of the story, which I appreciated.
It's an Angel Studios movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a much longer and really interesting conversation to be had about Angel Studios, but that's part of the reason why it's successful, because they are a successful and smart production company. They know who their audience is. They know how to market and target their audience. And essentially a lot of their movies are like Trojan horse movies.
Yeah, like When the Game Stands Tall.
They're not about God, but they are.
He's just in the story, you know?
Yeah, though this movie it's explicitly for Christian. It's more like one of those, it's like a dog whistle for Christian.
Yeah, they just don't. This never shows up in the script. Speaking of famous alumni from your colleges, last year there was a story that came out because a 58-year-old power lifter who had worked in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for his entire adult life joined the Lycoming football team at 58 years old. So this is like basically the guy's same story, slightly different circumstances. And so New York Times picked it up. He's a big Raiders fan, so the Raiders, like every major outlet picked it up last year. So I was like, oh, this is The Senior Part 2.
Wow. Is the type of guy the Raiders produce.
A Raiders fan in North Central PA. Classic.
What did Flint do before getting back into the the gridiron, like
nah, the movie doesn't cover this, but I looked into this too. He was like a strength and conditioning coach for like major D1 colleges.
Yeah.
Huh. I think Baylor was one.
Same as Tom Sillo, weightlifting coach.
And he played at Permian High School, so he was clearly a baller, but come on, bro, like 50 something, like what are we doing?
Injuries, that's what we're doing. So
of course, you're just signing up to like make sure your knee clicks for the next 10 years.
Pride is a hell of a drug, my friend, and ego. All right, Case, we've reached the top of the mountain. What do you got for top performances?
This isn't going to surprise anybody, but I could not find any lists.
Oh, no. That's not good for Michael Chiklis.
The Michael Chiklis fans, I couldn't even find that goofy dude that had that book club.
Oh, my God.
I figured maybe he had something about Chiklis, but I built a prompt telling it to find all this information about an actor and create an AI-generated list. And so it looks at such things as their different ratings, their different IMDb scores, their Rotten Tomato scores. So we have some characters and bad projects, and we have maybe some bad acting and good projects. So we'll work our way through it. But it is ranked in order of 1 through 10, and it is movies and TV, because if it was just movies, it would probably be a top 3.
We are the definitive source on your Michael Chiklis top list. That's it. That's what it's going to be.
It's a list. I don't know that it's all that definitive, but it's a list for discussion purposes, if nothing else.
Yeah, Vic Mackey's number 1, right?
Detective Vic Mackey from The Shield is number 1 for sure.
Thing is number 2.
Ben Grimm.
Ben Grimm, the Thing in both Fantastic Fours, is number 5.
I'm only going to guess things that we didn't talk about. So give me Carlos Wake from 1999.
Carlos is not on the list. Good try, though.
The Commish.
The Commish has got to be on there.
Yes. Tony Scally from the Commish comes in at number 4.
I like that.
Oh, I'm sure the Gotham guy's on there. Nathaniel.
Captain Nathaniel Barnes comes in at number 6.
Oh.
Okay.
Give me Eagle Eye, Alistair.
Defense Secretary Callister does not make the list. Now, remember, this is based on performances, so it does look for like reviews and articles about their performances.
I would like the Kurt Russell, Jason Isaacs classic Soldier from 1998.
Soldier, even though it lost $75 million, and I love stories like that, did not make the list.
Red Auerbacher.
Red Auerbach from Winning Time comes in at number 2.
Okay.
Great list.
How about the senior?
Mike Flint, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Comes in at number 7.
There you go.
1985.
Yeah, it's the other one that had good ratings we didn't talk about.
As in Dale Lester, where Chiklis delivers one of his most nuanced and restrained performances. Yes, that comes in at number 3.
Okay. Probably a movie I should have watched. Oops.
This is good on us. We're missing 8, 9, and 10. We've gotten the top 7 so far.
American Horror Story?
Del Toledo, who plays Strongman. You guys just talked about that strength coach.
Incredible name.
Yes, right. Strongman. Del Toledo. One of our top names ever. Comes in at number 8.
That's incredible.
Vegas, baby.
That's right. Vincent Savino, the 1960s Chicago gangster, comes in at number 9.
That show that James was wondering who was watching? Somebody was watching it. All right, let's round it out with the Three Stooges playing Curly.
It is another real-life character.
You tell me it's Wired, John Belushi?
Wow.
It is Wired. That's right. Portraying the late comedy legend Belushi in a polarizing film, Chiklis demonstrated early on his willingness to tackle challenging, high-profile characters.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I think it's just he wanted a job, but sure. Is that what you want to say?
That is the top 10.
Top 3 again was what, Case?
The Shield, Winning Time, and 1985.
Cool. All right, let's get into the Munson Meter. What we do, we rate every actor on a scale of 0 to 100. It can be based on a variety of factors that could include anything from longevity, project choice, pop culture, acting range, awards footprint, other talents, personal life, comedic chops, box office success, and anything else that matters to us as Munsons. So we will start this time with Aubrey.
I think there should be a small caveat or asterisk next to mine because I just didn't watch his TV. While this is Munsons at the movies, I should have gotten some more of his TV because that's where his strongest work is at. And for the way that I go about this, my meter, his TV stuff would have probably helped. Now, with that caveat being said, I had a rough time with this one. When the best movie you watch is Eagle Eye,
Yeah.
it's not a great prep situation. My issue with Chiklis is I don't really find him to be that compelling of a performer. The Shield is something that's really interesting to hear you guys talk about, but even in hearing you guys talk about that, I don't necessarily know how much intrigue is being drawn from him. I don't find him to be overly charismatic. He doesn't really draw my attention to what he's doing. I thought there were opportunities for him to do something more complex or more interesting, even in bad stuff, and I wasn't really getting that. I can't fault him for bad movies because it's very possible that I just caught a bad run of movies. But when every movie I see you in isn't good, sometimes you also got to be like, you got to find the constant. So I really struggle with this, but I have to go about as low as I can, and I'm giving him a 50.
It is as low as you can go.
Well, you can go a lot lower than that.
Nope, not with my teacher scale.
Not with him. Luda did ask how low can you go once upon a time, and 50 is the answer.
There it is.
I go no lower than 50 unless you're Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, fair.
The Spacey rule. All right, Case, what do you got for us?
I think he is a strong TV attraction. From a movie standpoint, and that's kind of where I tend to focus on it, I think the best might be ahead of him. I think we might be, if we do this podcast 10 years from now, we talk about Michael Chiklis, we might have a whole different conversation.
A Chiklissance?
That's right, Chiklissance. I like him a lot, all the interviews I watched, and I think there's a reason he's good in TV shows, but none of that really goes into my score because I'm so heavy on the data. And the data points that are important to me and kind of where I think that puts him on my list is going to give him a 57.
And did you give him any bonus points for being a fellow bald guy?
Oh, shit, 58. 58. Thank you, Kyle. I forgot about that.
Just making sure.
Appreciate that.
Matti, our guest Munson.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said.
Especially the bald part.
Yeah, especially the bald part. I want to note with interest that Kyle, when he was explaining the Munson Meter, that there was that little caveat at the end that we can attribute whatever we want to the score. So I'm going to give him a little bump for being a fellow terrier. You know, always good to see
That's one shot.
a BU terrier
Absolutely.
out there. Not everybody can be Julianne Moore. Sometimes you got to be in Fantastic Four or on YouTube. So we're all just struggling, doing our best here. I think, you know, there's something to be said that he has consistent work, and obviously acting on television is still acting. And I think the main issue is that with every movie I've seen him in, which is not that many, I've never been blown away by him. I've never been, oh wow, he is the takeaway of this movie. I mean, even in the Fantastic Fours, it's not his performance of the Thing, it's the makeup of the Thing that's probably the best part of those movies.
Yeah.
Which is not great. So you know, I want to give him a little bit more. I wish he could have a few more options. I think I'm inclined to agree with Case that we could be in for a Chiklissance, just with
Hell yeah.
there being more Netflix and stuff out there. I think he has a couple more, you know, Red Auerbach type roles where he can really just sort of like light the stage on fire. So that being said, I'm still only going to give him a 55.
All right, so I think he has a really fascinating journey of going from an up-and-coming actor in Boston with all the promise in the world to almost destroying his career immediately in Wired, to grinding out and carving out a pretty specific impact in the world of television especially. However, this was not my favorite actor research we've ever done. It allowed me to do some other things in life. I would say that. It was like some Munson's episodes. You're like, when we're doing Irfan Khan, I was like, man, I can't wait to watch another Irfan Khan movie. The Michael Chiklis is like, fuck, what else is free? And could I watch in the background while I work and not hate it? All right, well, if I'm in high school, because how bad can a stupid stoner movie be? And it's pretty bad. But I'm also not a big TV episode person, and that's his bread and butter. So that doesn't help.
Yeah.
He doesn't score very well on my scale for the obvious reasons, but despite he is visually recognizable, I think people will recognize him if they saw him. His pop culture is pretty limited. I didn't see a lot of acting range from him. He has a very sparse awards profile outside of the Shield. I don't find him particularly funny. He's not like a jokey kind of guy. He doesn't really make me laugh. His box office impact's, it's 140th until halfway through this episode, and then he went up 6 spots because of Spirited Away.
Still 134.
So. And then the focus on like being in religious movies the last 5-10 years doesn't help me either. So his Stan Lee's glowing recommendation of him sent me into a tailspin on the front end of this episode. So I'm in a weird spot.
That's why I shared it.
But I got to stick to my guns here. Sorry, Stan Lee. Much respect, and I respect that he's a grinder and a Boston boy like Matti, but I got to score him a 53. And James, round us out.
Let me tell you, this was one of those ones where it's like I agree with what you said. There's a lot of trash in there, but I had felt like I knew more about his career than I actually did. I would describe it as durable. He's had a durable career.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
I think The Shield was ahead of its time, or just perfect of the times, and I think he's at his best when he's playing kind of like an asshole. I did like Fantastic Four, but it's stupid. But Winning Time, he's an asshole in that, and he's legitimately fantastic in every scene that he's in. I think that's a great performance. He also plays a lot of Italians, which he's pretty good at because he's essentially just playing like his own family. And so this is probably close to kind of how he is. Like the only difference between Italians and Greeks are the ends of their last names. It's literally just like across the water from each other people. His uneven filmography, though, is like when it gets bad, it gets real bad, man. It's like,
oh yeah,
forgettable, low budget movies, and that's tough. He's also unfortunately a Patriots and a Red Sox fan, so I got to deduct 2 points for that.
Oh, dude.
Like, I'm sorry if it's harsh, but it's not my fault that he's a scumbag. It's not my fault he did that.
It outweighs the ball bonus he got. So,
It's fine.
But he's also like clearly a good grandpa, so I'll give him the 2 back. That's fair. But it sucks to be a fan of those teams. But I'm gonna end up giving Chiklis a 52.
God, we're right on the strike zone there. All right, with that gives Michael Chiklis a 53.6. which puts him in 138th place. So kind of landed the plane between his starting box office score and finishing box office score. So that puts him just behind William Atherton and David Arquette, and the only 2 actors he's in front of are Chris O'Dowd and
David Arquette. What a fascinating character.
Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah.
Oh, that's harsh.
I say that every time.
For anybody that thinks we're evaluating this too crudely, we are right at the same level as the Rotten Tomato audience scores. We're 2.6 points higher than his super score, and we're 15 points higher than the critic score. So,
damn.
I think we did pretty well for Michael Chiklis.
Landed the plane pretty nicely there. So, all right, Aubrey, what has he got coming?
2 things in post-production. So if you're rolling your eyes at how low we scored him because you're excited for his stuff, he's got 2 things that should be coming out at least relatively soon.
Yeah.
The Tyrant is one of them.
Chiklissance.
This is good. This is good for. See, Matti gets marketing online. We can coin that, and we can really sell this episode.
Yeah, it really rolls off the tongue.
Well, Tyrant would be a good place to start. Stars Charlize Theron, Julia Garner, and Demi Moore. So there's a good chance that will get a lot of eyes on it.
Could be solid.
It's a relatively unknown director. Only one other thing. And that thing, I don't even know if it really actually released. So could be interesting. And it follows a story set in NYC's high-end culinary world with shades of Wall Street and Whiplash, is what IMDb says.
Hell yeah.
So take that for what it is. Then there's the Mongoose, which is set to release at the end of October. The prime time for an action thriller, October 30th. Stars Liam Neeson, Ving Rhames, and Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
A highly decorated combat vet, Ryan Fang Flanagan, is fleeing a murder scene at 130 miles an hour in a Mustang Shelby Cobra GT65. My guess is there's going to be a lot of crossover in the audience for the senior in that movie.
So it's going to be great.
This director doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so
Mark Vanzelo.
Yeah.
Michael Chiklis plays Major Walter Pope, so doing some military stuff.
96 minutes, baby. I'm there. I'm sat.
Both of those projects, he's top 5.
The director is a stunt guy.
I'm actually glad you brought up that director. He's a stunt guy, and I'm always interested in stunt guy turn action movie director.
Yeah.
And he was the stunt coordinator on The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson, so there's your Liam Neeson guy.
Oh, shit.
Which Kyle told me was awesome.
Fucking so funny.
It is awesome.
It's so funny.
Funniest movie I've seen in the last couple of years. This is unbelievably good.
So there's more hope for this movie than originally thought.
Apparently so.
No.
Maybe.
I think this movie's going to be terrible.
I'm sat.
I was about to say, I don't think it's going to be a comedy.
My guess is this movie will be terrible. Marissa Tomei will look great, and there'll be one really fire action set piece.
She's the best.
We need these movies to be good, so our Chiklissance hashtag carries some weight.
That's true.
Hell yeah.
It's we need to have legs. It needs legs. So, All right. Thanks, Aubrey. Episode 141 is just around the corner. Podcast going to drop September 10th. We've got Dan Craig coming back. He will officially eclipse Matti with his 9th appearance.
Boo.
He was here for Chris O'Dowd, Tim Roth, Willem Dafoe, David Spade, Maggie Smith, William Atherton, Goldie Hawn, and Robert Forster. And the 5 actors on the wheel were Maya Wasikowska, J.K. Simmons, Bill Pullman, Alan Cumming, and Russell Crowe. Thoughts on the list?
Much better list than the last one.
Damn good list.
Love the list, other than Maya Wasikowska. I don't know who that is.
You'd recognize her. Mia Wasikowska.
She's Alice in Wonderland.
Yep.
The live-action Alice in Wonderland that made $1 billion. Come on, man.
Crimson Peak.
Yep.
You guys, I type in her name to Google, the fucking first thing that pops up is, what happened to Maya Wasikowska? It's like famously stepped away from act. Okay, so I'm the asshole that, it's like, she hasn't made movies purposely in a few years.
She's got some really cool movies. Like, her career would be interesting to go over, but I can't imagine anybody would pick her, though.
I mean, Dan Craig loves his 90s, so
He does.
Bill Pullman.
for me, it's either between Bill Pullman or Russell Crowe. I'm going to go Russell Crowe because he was bigger in the 90s.
That all sounds enjoyable to me.
Monty, if you were going to come back to back, who would you pick?
Of these 5, I think I'd go J.K. Simmons. That would be really fun.
Respectable choice.
Yeah.
Get to talk about the Spider-Mans. You get to talk about La La Land. You get to talk about Whiplash. I don't know why I started with La La Land. He's a cameo in that, but like you get a bunch of stuff. So I would
And he's a Tigers fan. Love that.
Yeah. The Accountant.
249 credits. Okay.
Ooh.
Red Notice.
He's hilarious in his cameo in Burn After Reading.
Or Red One.
Oh, yeah.
Not Red Notice. Yeah. Red One. Sorry. Can't believe I got those mixed up.
So, Case, you think Dan's going either Russell Crowe or Bill Pullman? That's the guess?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Not a big Mia Wasikowska fan? You don't know? Not sure?
No, she was born in 89, so...
Well, he'll be stepping away from doing camp stuff, I'm sure, teaching, whatever Dan does this type of year to come hang out with us to talk one of these actors. So, but Dan doesn't decide, Matti doesn't decide, I don't decide, despite whatever Aubrey tells the world, Josh, the students, whoever out there, or at this point, whose wife picks things. I don't know. I'm just, the wheel decides and we'll see what happens.
Sounds a lot like someone who does decide.
Yes. Awfully defensive on that one.
Matti, You've reached the end, my friend. Red carpet moment. If you want to plug anything you're working on, wise words for our audience, the floor is yours.
No, always a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. It's always good catching up with you guys and seeing you once or twice a year to chat movies and yap about shitty Fantastic Four movies that you accidentally have to defend. If you're into Pokemon, I run a little YouTube channel called Flag on HG. Go check that out. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much.
Appreciate you, man. It's only a matter of time until Aubrey's son, who's getting obsessed with Pokemon, is on your channel watching you stream.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's a fact. It's going to happen. Pikachu backpack and everything.
I can't think of a better place for him to start. Wholesome as shit. So that's good. All right, Matti, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming. We'll wrap this thing up. So as we wrap things, as always, you can catch us on Instagram and Threads, Munsons at the Movies. You can email us, munsonsatthemovies@gmail.com. Any final thoughts from Michael Chiklis?
And here's my advice. Enjoy this thing. Milk it. For the nookie, for the attention. Leave the dynasties to me.
Munsons Out.
All right, let's go. Thank you for the education, gentlemen. We've just received a PhD in stupidity. Doctor, shall we?
Del Toledo, the stupendous strongman. You probably heard of me. I got a honey of an escape act. I studied under Hardin, Harry Houdini's younger brother.
Truly.
3 sold-out shows a night, 2 matinees every weekend. I was a smash in the Windy City.